Potentially a day of trades in the NFL, and we've already got one on the scoreboard. Multiple reports had the LA Rams acquiring two-time Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns for two-time Pro Bowl edge rusher Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round pick, a 2028 second-round pick, and a 2029 third-round pick. Another trade to keep an eye on over the next couple hours, Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown potentially being on the move to New England. This has long been reported, but the teams had to wait until 4 p.m. today so that the dead cap hit for the Eagles could be split over the next 2 seasons, making the trade possible. Nothing official yet, but we'll keep you up to date if anything does come down over the next couple of hours. That's not all in the NFL. The Bills did make a small roster move today, signing wide receiver Mac Delana and release cornerback Daryl Porter Jr. The Giants are bringing back wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. Beckham Jr. was with the Giants from 2014 until 2018, and the Giants also signing wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, and Russell Wilson appears to be making the move to television as reports have him finalizing a deal to become a CBS sports analyst. Then in baseball, the Mets, they're out west versus Seattle. First pitch for that game is at 9:40. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
We are in discussions of a potential transaction, including him. I'll have a lot more to say about it once it is final, if it does become final.
A few moments later.
According to sources, Myles Garrett is going to be traded to the Los Angeles Rams.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
The two teams are finalizing a deal that will include Myles Garrett, the two-time Defensive Player of the Year, for superstar young edge Jared Verse, a first-round pick, and more.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog on WGR Sports Radio 550.
Okay, hi there. Hey now, even. I'm a little bit overrun with thoughts.
Well, let's just sort
Too many
them out.
thoughts.
Let's sort them out and see what happens.
I mean, that trade has to be talked about.
You think?
Yes. And guess my position. I flatter myself to think you would have any idea, or anyone would have any idea, but what do you think? What do you think I think about it?
I should know, but I don't.
I can't. I mean, is physically what I want here as a modifier. I can't not appreciate what the Browns did. I can't not respect it.
Sure.
They're going nowhere.
Yeah.
He's 30.
And they got
a guy who's maybe almost as good.
He's excellent. Yeah.
And a first and a second and a third.
All right. Yeah.
And it's less money.
Yeah, now you got a different conversation on your hands if the Browns are any kind of a contender. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised to hear that. I guess I should have guessed that. But I love it for the Rams, too.
I think you can.
I think I love it for the Rams, too. I think, they must. I mean, who doesn't view Myles Garrett as some degree of an upgrade, at least in the very short term? We'll see what kind of shelf life Garrett has as a top level performer out there. But I just, the Rams of all teams, like, they just keep finding ways, despite having the burden of the $50 million quarterback on their roster and on their salary cap.
It sounds like you're winking.
They find a way to just continue to add guys. And, we'll see. I don't know. There's a lot of already speculation about, does this mean they're already decided they're not going to pay Puka Nacua or, whoever, any other number of young guys? I don't know. But what it means to me is that they're telling everyone they're trying to win the Super Bowl as hard as they possibly can again this year. And I tip my hat to them because they always find a way to divest themselves of these picks and still be, I mean, they're not excellent every year. There's a bottom out year in there, I think, right after they win, where they missed the playoffs and went maybe 7-10 or something.
7-10.
Come on. But they've been kind of the same level of contender, except for that 1 year, every other year of this run since they won. Like, they won it, had a bad year. Maybe not the year. There's a bad year in there. I just don't remember if it's right after the Super Bowl.
It is.
Or not.
5-12.
5-12 even. Okay. And
last in the league in yards. Oh, that's the year like Mayfield stopped by and that year?
That's probably right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe, is that where they draft Verse? Maybe. I don't remember how high a pick he was now. But anyway, the churn just keeps going, and they're right there. They're every bit level of the contender that the Bills have been. Every one of these years.
It's the kind of trade that you wish would happen more often because it makes sense for everybody. It's just that money gets in the way. And I think maybe image and optics, if that's the same thing. The people in charge are maybe on their last gasp as a GM or something. You have all these other, like there are politics that get in the middle of it. But see, this is why fantasy is so great, because that really doesn't happen in fantasy. You have every year, every league, dynasty, you have teams that are like close, and then you have teams that are not close. And trades like this are just a fait accompli. Like, they should happen, and they're exciting, but it's fantasy, so nobody cares.
Right.
If you're not in that league, this should happen in sports more often, and it doesn't. But when it does happen, it's exciting, and it's sort of a reminder of that if you have, the Browns, there's a lot to be said for the Browns here too, in how they have been. I like this point. This is almost like a Sabres point before last year or this year. Is it too soon to call it last year? It's still this year because they're still playing hockey. But
I'll get back to you with a ruling on that later.
The Browns, having been losers for so long, I think makes this tougher in theory to do.
I guess, especially after, it was just last off season that there was all of the, like, Garrett made the rounds at the Super Bowl, and it just sounded like, I know how the Browns sounded. The Browns sounded like we're not trading him, but he sounded the whole time like, I got to get out of here. And then he signed that dopey contract, and it never really made sense for the Browns to do that. Like, yes, you want to protect yourself and keep a premium asset on your team, but what is that going to get you? It's not going to get you anywhere. You're just going to pay the guy a ton of dough, and he's going to pile up a bunch of numbers, and then we'll argue about whether he's a Hall of Famer or not because his team always won 3 games. I don't know. Like, it just was going nowhere. So they're out of that, which is smart. Verse is younger, so his peak should maybe still be coming if he's not already in it, but it'll last longer than you would assume Garrett's does. So it makes every bit of sense everyone wins to me here. Except maybe Jared Verse, who goes from a Super Bowl contending team in Los Angeles to a Cleveland team that is just not seemingly going to be that interested in winning because they're not that close.
Well, apologies if the answer to this is known, but when you think back to last year and Garrett signing that deal, that was pretty shocking because he was supposed to be – he wrote that letter.
Right.
And he wanted to win, and then it's like –
remember,
everybody made fun of him.
And the GM said, like, he's going to be, something about the Hall of Fame. He was like, I want to win Super Bowls. I'm not here just to go to the Hall of Fame.
Right, before the letter.
Right, before the letter
was in response to that.
Yeah, right. It seemed like it was really getting nasty there.
Well, then he signs, and everybody laughs.
Right.
At him. And I wonder if the GM is the same guy for all these years. Like, Barry has been there going back several years. And that's interesting, too. That's part of the earlier point that, he must have some confidence that, he would have to, that a trade like this isn't going to sting him. Like, this is what management would have to, support it. But I bet, again, sorry if this is already known, whether this is or is not accurate, but I bet last year that they sort of had a handshake agreement that in a year from now, listen, here's the money, here are the terms. In a year, you'll be movable. And so give us 1 year, make it look good, go win the Defensive Player of the Year again, I guess.
Set the sack record, single-season sack record.
Right. And then we will, if we're not suddenly good, then will move you.
Well, now we know why they did whatever bookkeeping they did earlier, like right after the season. There was all this reporting about, I don't understand why they're doing this with the money, because all it really does is make him easier to move. Well,
that was the point.
There it was. That sometimes the easiest and most reasonable answer is the right one. And so that was indeed what was happening there. And the Rams pounced. So, I mean, I love I was listening to Tim and Brad on my way in. It's kind of cool for me that, I got these two guys that have been friends of mine for a long time, and they're doing this show now pretty regularly right before us. And just hearing them talk about the Bills approach and the Rams approach. And, I don't know a Bills fan walking around right now that wouldn't want to have traded for Myles Garrett. But your problem is, what you don't have? Well, you don't have money, for one thing. You don't have cap room, so there's a problem there. Somehow the Rams do. I don't know. I'm not sure how that all works, but they do. We don't. They've got a lot of great players. They've got a $50 million quarterback. Okay. But I don't have Jared Verse. That's who I don't have. I don't have up-and-coming or even already provably excellent edge rusher to divest myself of if I wanted to upgrade. I mean, you're already talking about a guy like – I would have been excited to find out the Bills traded for Jared Verse.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, the guy's excellent. So to think that you find it possible or necessary even to upgrade from that guy to this guy is pretty incredible and is a risk because of the age of the two players involved here. One guy already costs, he comes with all this money attached, and the other guy is not even to a big contract yet. So, like, most teams shy away from that. Like, I've got a pretty talented, pretty comparable, I guess. I mean, one guy's the defensive player of the year, the other guy's not. I know, okay, so it's not, but I think
it's comparable.
Verse is close enough that I think it's stunning that the Rams were shopping for someone to upgrade him, because you would easily sit back and just go, yeah, we're all set. I drafted him. He's excellent. We'll pay him. We developed him, and that's the Bills model. And I'd be happy to have someone like Jared Verse, but I don't, and therefore, like anybody that's out there going, how come the Bills weren't in on this? Money, and I don't have that guy.
Well, that's almost everybody's model.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bills are not the exception
That's
here.
right.
The Rams are.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, most teams in any sport are gonna hold close to the vest the player like the Versus.
Yeah.
Score to win. And I guess I can't help but smile. I mean, the Rams are different, and it makes it all more interesting. It doesn't have to work. I mean, really, this is also a defensive player, not a quarterback. They did that. I mean, how different is it from when they traded Goff for Stafford? Like, this is kind of how much better is Stafford than Goff? A little, I guess, maybe. And then they went and won, and Goff's been good for Detroit, but it was the same kind of thing where they were willing to give up a lot of assets to make that, whatever you want to say, kind of upgrade. Modest.
I mean, this all just happened within like the last 2 hours or so, right? This news broke. But I read some reporting already that indicated the Rams were in on this idea as far back as the draft, if not before that. And one piece of speculation I read was that it's thought that they drafted Simpson, the quarterback, now because they were anticipating not having next year's number one, because they thought they were going to make this deal, and they wanted to make sure they had someone in the pipeline to develop behind Stafford, who they're very much like year to year with. And I'd like, well, we're not going to have our one next year, so we better get a guy. Which is, that's some planning.
They had another one from Atlanta. So it made that easier because they had Atlanta's one from last year's draft. I mean, it's just pretty sexy. It's pretty cool. Could the Bills have done it? Maybe not. Would the Bills have done it? Maybe not. But I want to say again, I don't know. It's what does this sound like? This sounds like Dick Duran maybe, but it's really hard to win. And the difference between Garrett and Verse this year only, because then that decreases, it compounds. The next year you don't have the first, so then it's the difference between Garrett and Verse and a 1. All of that, what does it really mean to their chances? They're in a very tough division. They're not, I mean, I know people say like Sam Monson, like they already had the best roster. I'll give him that. They might have already had the best roster. But they didn't win last year with the same roster. Seattle did. And it was close. They had to beat them twice in close games.
It's funny enough, like I I was out for a late does it have to be called brunch if it's a late breakfast? I didn't, it wasn't, whatever. Anyway, I went for breakfast.
What time?
11:30.
That's not breakfast.
Okay. Anyway, but I had breakfast foods.
That's lunch.
I had breakfast foods with a Bloody Mary. So I brunch.
Today?
No. Jeez.
What makes brunch?
Sunday. The Bloody Mary, I think, is what makes it brunch.
No.
That is not breakfast anymore if you're having alcohol, I think. Anyway, so I was out, and there, it's 11:30 in the morning, but there's a restaurant and there's a bar area, and we ended up in the bar area, and there's TVs on, and they're like, last night's Yankee game is on.
Oh,
but the TV
love that.
That's right in my line of sight is on the NFL Network, and they're showing the Rams-Bengals Super Bowl. And it's the end. It's like the Rams score to go ahead, and now the Bengals get the ball back.
Yesterday.
And this is yesterday. I'm watching this.
Right.
All right. Having no idea about a Jared versus Myles Garrett trade. But how's that game end? That game ends with Joe Burrow under siege from Aaron Donald. And like all the machinations about the roster and the age and the salary cap and all the stuff, I'll bet you somewhere the Rams would just tell you, we got Myles Garrett, so he makes that play at the end of a game. Or at the end of the conference championship game or the end of the Super Bowl, because we've been missing that since Aaron Donald has not been here. So that's why we did that.
Maybe he comes back.
Maybe, I don't know. But like that's like right now that guy's this much better than the guy we traded away. And that's worth doing. And paying all the extra stuff and the extra money. I just love how ballsy it is. It's just so bold. For a team that's already won. Recently, right? I mean, that's only 4 years ago.
Yeah.
What is that? 5 years ago now. Just stunning.
21 season.
Okay.
Well, I doubt we end up sort of holding court on this trade because people are not going to call us to engage on it, I would think. I mean, right?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, the only thing you could say is I'd love the Bills to be able to make such a trade.
But I do again want to. I want to stick up for the Browns because I think what they did is very hard to do. Not everybody would put it like that. Some would say how easy it is. Like I mentioned the Sabres before. I don't know if the Sabres were even this aggressive. Like they were always dumping. So I don't know. Like you might get tired of that as a franchise. And the Browns could have sat there with their Deshaun Watson stock and their draft picks and been like, what do you mean? Why would we do this? But I bet it was the plan going back a year to make this move. And I don't know, like I'm sure, like we've talked about and you're saying, a lot of people are going to rag on them or tell you how much better the Rams got. I think they probably got a little better. Maybe a lot, but it's hard to know. And the guy that they gave up is really good. Good to see it. I thought here Odell Beckham was going to be our first topic.
Right.
Speaking of the Rams and that Super Bowl in which he tears his ACL
That's
5 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily a huge topic, but it would be interesting to talk about him. The Bills go to L.A. for a Monday night game in Week 5. And the Rams, who already were the betting favorite, which that's interesting in itself with Seattle out there. How many times does that happen where the defending Super Bowl winner is in your division and you're still the favorite to win the whole thing?
Yeah.
But the Rams were just above Seattle, then it's Buffalo and Baltimore. That's the top 4. And the Rams odds got shorter. I guess that's not surprising, but this is not a quarterback. And if they didn't have a good one, they wouldn't have been the favorite in the first place. So they weren't trading for one, but the Rams get a little bit more love in the betting market today for this trade. I made a bet yesterday.
How'd that go?
I made
I
two.
shouldn't have rushed to the end.
What
was the bet,
two?
Mike?
I made 2 bets yesterday, and one of them is already dead. That was a golf bet.
Sorry to hear
which,
that.
you can't expect to win a golf bet.
Well,
really.
well, I mean, you can hope to. Yeah, but yeah,
You can't expect
you make that on a Sunday, it's over.
Yeah, I bet Spawn.
Right.
I like Spawn. I was watching it, so
Yeah.
he didn't get there. I made a Conn Smythe trophy bet
Oh, all right.
through
We can do that.
an intermediate. No,
Okay, I was going to say I didn't. All right, all right.
through an intermediary.
I see. All right.
That isn't Sam,
Oh,
because
boy.
Sam was in a state where it wasn't possible for him to do it
The
either.
wheels are now turning. So let's see, Conn Smythe. Well, it's gotta be
I bet the 4th favorite.
Okay. See, I've not even. Well, because we can't bet it, I go to my app. I never see it. I don't go searching for this sort of information. I have you for that, which is
Yes,
helpful
you do.
in a situation like this. So I have no
For
idea.
now.
I would imagine Marner and Anderson are the 2 top favorites.
Correct.
Frederick Anderson and Mitch Marner. Probably Marner on top of Anderson.
Right.
I'm going to guess because Vegas is favored in the series.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Well deduced.
So let's see who's third. You bet Eichel, didn't you?
No.
How high up the board was he, or how low down the board?
He
was
wasn't in the top 4.
Okay.
If you like Vegas to win, then he's a candidate, but he would have to blast through Marner, I think, in this round, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Marner would have to get hurt or something.
Probably.
I think for anybody else but Marner and Anderson to win, maybe not Anderson, it has to be a kind of a longer series where somebody can catch up.
Right. I'm okay. I'm gonna get. I don't know.
I'll tell you who the third favorite is if you want
Okay.
to make it easier because it's not him.
No, don't tell me because I want to guess Stankoven was 4th.
Correct.
All right. See, I didn't want another clue.
Taylor Hall's third.
Okay.
All the Sabres on this list. We thought we were rid of this sort of ugly past creeping in on us, but we're not quite, I guess.
No, we're not.
Stankoven, what do you think? 9-1.
I think he definitely planted a flag with all the early goals in the early rounds, but he's lagging because they've only played. They played
13 games.
13 games instead of 18 or 20 or whatever. But I think if he has a good series, and maybe it's a little more high scoring, and that dings Anderson,
right,
and Carolina wins, then I would like his chance.
That's what has to happen.
Yeah.
I need to crack Anderson.
Right. Which doesn't seem like it should be impossible.
I agree.
Goalies. I like it. I like it.
All right.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to root for Vegas. I just cannot stand Carolina. Any way, shape, or form. I mean, I hate their anthem singer. I just do not. I'm not in a good place with the Carolina Hurricanes. And
I've never been in a good place with the Carolina Hurricanes.
Who has? Right. As much as Vegas and whatever their reputation is, I think that's where I'm going to end up. I think the Marner piece of it is really, really cool.
I like that
because of the reputation he accrued, along with everyone else that was a part of those Toronto teams. Not clutch, can't score big goals, playoff failure, all this stuff. And if he wins the Conn Smythe the first year he's out of Toronto, it would be just delicious.
Yes.
So I have to, I think, root for that.
But now I can't root for that.
Yeah.
I can't root for him to win the Conn Smythe.
Well, because you have
a
a bet on
Conn Smythe. But yes to all of it.
It is going to be the most ghastly Stanley Cup Finals uniform matchup of all time.
That's a you problem. I'll be watching baseball.
So
I think
bad.
Yeah, well, that yellow never wins out. I mean, that you can't. There's no good matchup when one team is wearing Colonel Mustard.
Right.
Actually, you are today a little bit.
Well, yeah, this is like French's yellow. And there's no brown here. Theirs is like a Gulden's brown.
It's bad.
It's bad. And it looks textured, it looks spongy weirdly, which also freaks me out. The whole thing. And then Carolina's got their road uniforms. Oh my! In Carolina, if they're wearing black, which I think they are at home, at least that'll look like a hockey game. I think Carolina on the road they got the red sleeve. it is going to be a horror show.
Don't you have a filter? Some sort of button you can push where they look like other teams?
I wish.
There should be some way to do that. 803-0550. Myles Garrett traded to the Rams. Should the Bills have been top bidder? I don't know how, but maybe. Lines open for your calls. We'll talk about the Texans today, right? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. Yep.
Will Kunkel out of Houston will join us next hour. He just talked to DJ Moore, I believe.
That's
we'll
correct.
See what he has to say. Lots of different stuff today. We will mix it up. Lines open for your calls. Thanks for listening. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.
For more comfort.
Now's the perfect time to make yourself comfortable with a new electric heating and cooling system from Belknap.
In Western New York, summer and winter bring extreme temperature conditions. Make yourself comfortable with Mitsubishi electric heat pumps, designed to keep your home cool in the summer and warm in the winter, no matter how hot or cold it gets outside. Call Belknap today to learn more.
I'm Gary Garfel, president of Belknap. We work on your schedule. We don't charge more for weekends and evenings. That's why we say,
give Belknap a ring.
I saw on Facebook or Twitter or something, but Deion Dawkins was just kind of looking at the audience and just marveling on how the team is so behind them. And he said, oh, my gosh, I just love these guys. I think this team, with Josh, everybody else, I think they genuinely love our fans, the Mafia. It's not about a paycheck. It's about bringing that trophy home. And this seems to really ring true with this team. And I just thought it was such a cool sentiment. And I love those guys. I love the team. Deion, you're awesome, man. Win on three. 1, 2, 3, win.
All right, Ed. Thank you for the cheer.
Hear me sing the Mary Tyler Moore Show theme today. But I did do that.
Right.
As the pre-show ever sounded.
I dropped a little nugget on Mike that I found very interesting. Yesterday, a gentleman by the name of Sonny Curtis passed away. And it's not a name that I was really familiar with at all, but I'm a huge Clash fan. And this is the man who wrote the song I Fought the Law, which is a very famous song that was originally made famous by a band called the Bobby Fuller Four. That's all I ever knew about it, other than that the Clash covered it then in the 70s, is that the Bobby Fuller Four recorded and made famous I Fought the Law. I never knew who the songwriter was. It turns out it was this man, Sonny Curtis, who was an original member of Buddy Holly and the Crickets. Like, so original that before Buddy Holly got famous, he was one of Buddy's sidemen, but had left by the time they became famous and when Buddy Holly passed away. Anyway, Sonny Curtis, in addition to having this tangential relationship to The Clash, my favorite band of all time, also wrote the Mary Tyler Moore theme song and sang it, like on the show. Like, that was him singing that song on the show. All those, it's like one of the, well, I mean, has the show ever sounded older? It's the Mary Tyler Moore Show. It's one of my favorite TV show theme songs ever. And the same guy who wrote this legendary song, I Fought the Law, also wrote this legendary TV theme. And I had no idea. Sonny Curtis passed away at 88.
It's amazing.
Yesterday. Yeah, I thought so. I don't even know. I think it came up because an old bit for him came up in my Twitter feed when I got here and reminded me of it. I had wanted in a small
word, Parker. The throw, if you don't know it, 79 All-Star game. The throw from right field in the Kingdome. The Kingdome is the show ever sounded older than the Kingdome reference. The game. They just stole the game, right? If you think about that, how that term is used in other sports, how is it? It's Dominic Hasek, as the show ever sounded older. Like, it's just you get outshot badly, but you still win. And you win in that comparison, you score late to win, right? You're down 2-0 with 3 minutes left. It's like the 07 team maybe is a better Sabres. You stole the game. They did a lot of that in those. Just go to look, this won't be hard. Just search it. Just like, hello, phone, Where is Mighty Ducks Game Changers, like Disney Plus? Great. Look how easy that was. Go to Disney Plus, not there. Only the trailer.
Oh, boy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All the other Mighty Ducks things are there. The show has never sounded older.
Yeah,
the show has
I know.
The best. Now I'm going to get defensive. Just point out that my daughter is 13. All right. I mean, I can't be that old if I'm not Larry King. Now the show really sounds old. Who's that? Seattle. Has the show ever sounded older? Seattle in the NBA Finals.
F-.
I like this point. F- to me seems like just like a cartoon.
Right.
Not a real.
Yeah,
F is the lowest.
Yeah, it was like Bugs Bunny, the teacher. Like, what are we doing here?
F-.
The show ever sounded older.
The Bengals food.
See, kids, Bugs Bunny was a cartoon character. I did see the Scouts play in Buffalo. Yeah, I saw a Kansas City Scouts game. Has the show ever sounded older?
Well, I'm going to be mad about this, but I'm not going to sacrifice my jersey number for it. Matthew Golden, that's taking it pretty seriously. So I went through thinking about numbers.
I think I like 22 on a wide receiver.
Bob Hayes.
Yeah, works.
Hey, can you think of another one?
No. That's why I like it.
Has the show ever sounded older?
To me, 22 doesn't strike me. Well, I mean, certainly Bob Hayes. It does not strike me as a slow number. It's one of the. He was like a.
Rams were still the best team, and they did not get the Super Bowl. Why? Some might say defense. They fixed the cornerback room, getting both Chiefs corners in Trent McDuffie and signing in Jalen Watson. And then now you go from Jared Verse, who in his own right was a defensive rookie of the year. But I even said in Stats vs. Film episodes that he went silent a bit too often. He wasn't getting them off the field in critical situations. Myles Garrett gives you the opportunity to do that and then some. So you fix the worst position group on the roster last year at the cornerback spot, and then you upgrade the edge rushing department and like the get off the field player in critical 3rd and 4th downs. And once again, I present to you that the Los Angeles Rams are the best team.
Okay, Josh Norris from Underdog, not to be confused with Josh Norris of the Sabres.
Josh Norris, all right. Who I don't know to be any level of football analyst.
Well, you don't really know him enough to.
That's right.
Like, you're basically saying that.
Right.
I don't know what he knows about Jared Verse.
Yeah. Might know as much as that Josh Norris for all I know. But what do I know? There's a lot of no's.
Josh Norris of the Sabres is a problem for you, kind of.
Yeah, it is. It was, at this time last year, a lot easier to just sort of cross your fingers and hope, like, well, maybe if he's good and he stays healthy, I mean, I know he's good. If he stays healthy and he's good more often, for me, I've got a chance to really improve, and maybe this can take off. And that really didn't happen. I mean, he did not have a highly impactful year. He did come back to the lineup, and it coincided with the 10-game win streak. Like that should be pointed out. Like, he was a reinforcement that, Kevin Adams getting fired? Well, no, you got a hotshot 200-foot number one center back. And so I don't want to say he didn't have any impact, but the money, and I'm just worried he's going to play 40 games again, and I don't want to just cross my fingers and hope that he can stay healthy. I'd like to replace him with someone who at least has demonstrated in other seasons that he can. So that I don't think is going to be real easy to do, because you probably got to pay somebody to take that contract. He's not a completely sunk asset, but the contract is going to be tough for somebody to acquire, I think.
You know what? Is this even the right question? That was the Cousins trade.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like a long time ago now, but was it worth it? When I like to say this, when a team wins a championship, necessarily, every move they made really cannot be criticized. I know there are times when, pretty much every time, the champion did this one thing that, wow, that was a terrible move. But they won, and that's the point. The Sabres did not win the Stanley Cup, but they did this. They made this monumental step forward this year, and you're saying it. Like, Norris was a part of the team. He was on the team. He was on the ice, number one center, etc. He scored one goal in the playoffs. It was against Boston. He did not score against Montreal.
It was an empty netter at that.
Okay. Like, I don't know what you really got there. I don't want to relitigate the Cousins trade. I mean, Cousins we were in a bad place with him, and maybe sort of both teams we'll see what happens with the Rams and the Browns.
Well,
maybe it's the opposite, where
funny,
both teams sort of get out from something.
I mean, I recognize you just said you don't want to relitigate it. I was on the air myself the day that trade happened. You were away. And one of the first points I got to was, like, I think in a look at the two players' careers, look at their stats. Norris, I think, is and just, you want to do a deeper dive under the hood. You get 200-foot game, defending, face-offs, whatever. Norris was the better player. But why does Ottawa want to make this trade? Well, I thought Ottawa wanted to make this trade because they're going to the playoffs. This is last season now, not this one that just finished up. They're about to go to the playoffs, and they don't know if they can count on this guy, and they want someone that they feel like they can depend on, even if it means he's, going to score 15 fewer points a year or whatever. And at that point, Cousins was far from the player he even was last year for Ottawa. Like, they kind of got the Dylan Cousins that got the contract extension last year. Ottawa did. And I don't even know what this is to say, but if I could undo that trade right now, like if I could get Dylan Cousins back on my team for Josh Norris, I would do it.
But you can't.
It's not going to happen. So at the time, I understood it. I got it was, to me, a risk worth taking for the Sabres. You're nowhere. You're stuck in the mud. Maybe this guy, new place, maybe he has better injury luck, and I got the better player. But so far, that's not looking like what's happening. And I think, if I want to really be serious about contending, I got to try to find a more stable number one center, I think.
The Sabres got 3 points in 10 games, including that empty net goal. I mean, Norris, due respect, he had Benson on his line for a lot of that. And still, 2 assists against Montreal. Benson got moved up. Krebs had 39 points this year. Part of this is a durability point, which is a big part of your argument. But Norris has ever only had one season north of 35 points. Not goals.
Right.
He had 35 goals the year he had more than 35 points. But, his second highest season in terms of points is 35. He's 27.
Right.
Is he tradable? You're bringing up reasons why he might not be. The money is a part of that.
Yep.
The Sabres are talking. This is Kekalainen. The Sabres are talking like they are very careful about what they're doing with their money. Not in a bad way. I'm not saying that yet. But Kekalainen referencing Skinner the other day.
When talking about the Tuck contract.
Talking about Tuck.
Yep.
And he has yet to sound that, frankly, optimistic about a Tuck deal, knowing what Tuck would want more than, maybe we don't know that, but you can make assumptions. I don't know. Your point since the season ended was, if you can move Norris, then you can do a lot of things here. And you can make room for the young guys, and maybe that even saves Tuck from leaving. Who knows? That's Robert Thomas, all these different ideas.
Right.
But it might be a pretty big
It might be a big lift.
Move to make.
Yeah.
Hard move to make.
Yep.
Game 1 of the final is tomorrow. Why is it final? Is that a thing that any normal person would not? Who would say final and not finals? Has it ever been final in sort of your life, just speaking like a normal person?
I would need to go back and look at all the graphics, like the word mark.
From the league or just from people?
Yeah, from the league. Have they, like when I was 20 and not paying attention, did they have a graphic that said Stanley Cup final?
Doubt it.
Like, I don't remember.
When was that, the 70s?
Yeah, I remember always calling it the finals, the finals, the finals, the finals. Never the final.
No, why?
Because I'm normal? Or at least in this respect.
Because it's more than one game.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. I don't know what I just know that.
Why do they even want that?
Good question.
Is there some marketing reason? There must be, right? Why the league would want to call it the final? Why would anybody ever want to do that when it's a best of 7?
My best guess is that they're trying to differentiate themselves from
the NBA?
The NBA, which is running concurrently.
Here's one way where you can do that in sort of, again, a normal way. Because it's different sport.
I was going to say,
with a different name.
Your game's on ice. It's
the
different.
NBA Finals. It's not even the NHL Finals. It's the Stanley Cup, which is distinctive already. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's been this way a long time, not when you were a kid. It's been this way a long time. I don't get it. A lot of things I don't get, including that the Bills have 2 games this year on Fox. And their games, we know this has changed, so there's the reveal. Their games at the NFC, well, no, those would be CBS games, like the AFC network, if you will. Their home games against the NFC, Chicago and Detroit, are both at night. Detroit is on Prime, and Chicago is on what?
Chicago is on CBS.
Sure.
It's a night game on CBS.
Of course.
Yeah, Saturday. It's a Saturday game. That's why.
I asked Sal today because I use this Pro Grid for the schedule all the time, and it said they have 2 Fox games. So I asked Sal, and Sal knew which 2 games, which 2 Bills games are on Fox. It's the Chargers in week 3, and then Miami here in week 11.
Those are both home games, right?
Both home games.
I guess because that the point you've been making about the NFC games. If traditionally that would be an opportunity for Fox to get them, and they're closed out of those because of the night game thing. So in order to get the Bills on Fox, they're taking a Miami and a LA Chargers home game.
And that probably will not – neither of those games will be like a number 1 team game, right? Chargers at Bills in week 3 at 1 o'clock. Is that like – I have the schedule.
I doubt it. Yeah, no.
Minnesota – at Tampa, Arizona at San Francisco. Those are 4 o'clock. Oh, Baltimore at Dallas. That's not Fox. This doesn't have to be settled right now.
Okay.
There's one 4:25 game that week, and that's the game in Rio. Because, of course, it is. Baltimore at Dallas, and I don't know who has that game.
Okay.
That might be a key. I was just thinking that I doubt we get Tom Brady this year, which I'm fine with. Because that would have to be like a Fox game of the week. And is Chargers at Bills in week 3 possibly the Fox game of the week? Is it that bereft otherwise? Maybe?
No. Maybe the Baltimore-Dallas game is on CBS, by the way. I just looked.
Okay.
I looked at their schedule, Baltimore.
Maybe it is then.
Yeah, might be. That means we don't escape Brady.
That would be the one. How good a game is that? Chargers at Bills, week 3. How good a game is that? Seattle at Washington that week. It's really not a great.
It's a pretty good
schedule.
You could sell it as 2 contenders.
Sure, it is.
Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not great. I don't think it deserves the number 1 announcing crew myself, but maybe you'll get it.
It's possible.
It's on Fox.
I don't see that much of a better Jets-Lions.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not up to that.
I don't see really a better option. Yeah. Seattle at Washington is the only one, if that's even a Fox game, which intuitively it feels like it. Carolina, Cleveland.
Yeah, no.
Vegas, New Orleans. What happened to the schedule? Everything's at night now. That's what happened to the schedule. All these night games can make the 1 o'clock slate. I know you like that when we're talking ball like this. It can make it
ball.
It can make it look weak. Yeah.
Sorry, I forced that. Did you see
Tennessee Giants?
Did you have any exposure to Brady's latest hot take?
I meant to look it up. Something about practice squads. And do players want to be on the practice squad? Is this now?
His take was this. I don't have quotes to share with you, but I read the whole commentary. And it's basically you make a couple $100,000 a year on a practice squad, and there's no pressure until you get called up to the active roster. And his point was guys that are on practice squads, they're happy to be there, and they'd rather not have to face the scrutiny of playing in any kind of high-pressure situation, and they're too comfortable sitting on practice squads.
It sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. It does. Because you're not guaranteed anything there beyond, it's a week-to-week existence on the practice squad. They're going to find someone they like better than you and replace you on the practice squad. And now you're not only not getting called up to the active roster, you're going home, and you no longer have your $200,000 a year or whatever it is. And I just think it's absurd. It's like another attempt.
Oh my
Not
God.
even attempt. It's an effort that to me is needless for him to prove how different he was and how driven he was and how strong-willed he was and how badly he wanted it, and that's why he managed to make all this out of himself after being a 6th-round pick. And I mean, just already stop trying to prove that to us.
It was no hot take whenever 4 years ago when he went into broadcasting to say he's just never going to leave us alone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's completely been the case.
Yep.
He's just never going to leave us alone. We didn't really sign up for this, did we? And Aaron Rodgers will be next, and he's already doing it by playing into his almost mid-40s now
Mm-hmm.
with no real serious chance at winning again. Like, just they cannot just go away. Pays great. There's always going to be, like, Fox is there for him. There's always going to be somebody to. Now it's Russell Wilson. There's just going to be somebody. There's so much money, no matter how interesting they are. And Brady is not the worst analyst.
No.
If you just didn't know it was him,
Yep.
it would help. But they just cannot quit it. And Olsen is so good. And, Tom Brady wants to do it. Sorry, Greg.
Yeah.
Like, just, you have to move down a peg. That point about the practice squad seems just insane.
Yeah.
And people who are in the league are saying that they think it's insane too.
Yeah, because he's talking like, if you could sustainably build your career 8 years, 5 years of being on a practice squad and bank $1 million or more, okay, maybe the certain kind of dude is going to want to just sort of stay in the background and just take that check. But guys don't do that. That's not available. Like, it's a year-to-year, week-to-week existence, and like, who is settling and signing up for that? It's insane.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, 803-0550. This is WGR.
An Olympic 100-yard dash
right.
champion.
That
right?
was his brand.
Has the show ever sounded older?
The video. 1,000 people are watching it at one time. 8 people have clicked the like button, and that's offensive. In that community, no. Just please go out of your way, if you must, and just click on the thumbs up. Do we have the thumbs up? We do. Yeah, all right. Please click the like button.
Yeah.
It helps to grow. I believe it helps to grow the program.
Does it tell
the algorithms like it when you get more likes?
Does it reveal the identity of the person clicking the like?
Not on YouTube.
Okay, I'm going to click it then.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time.
We'll talk about the Bills' Week 1 opponent, Houston, coming up after the update, 10 minutes or less from now. Bulldog doesn't care, so don't let him lie to you. But I built a fantasy team he would love on Saturday night.
Right, I definitely don't care. Yeah.
See, there he goes. Yep. There he goes again.
Can't wait to tell you I don't care.
Well,
you double dared me here, basically, to tell you I don't care, so I had to tell you.
Count them, 4 Titans. Has that ever been done? Ward, Singleton, Tate, Gunnar, Helm.
You've got my attention.
Look out, world. Here comes Mike Schopp's fantasy team.
I jumped too soon saying I didn't care.
On the Texans after this. bowling math, like front to back bowling math?
No, never.
Did you ever have to write it down?
Yes.
And figure out the math with a pencil?
Yes.
The show has never sounded older.
Yes.
It's about to sound older when I get to the next thing.
I think I knew how to do that at one time in my life, but I have long forgotten.
I think. And that, because 24-16, 192, the show has never sounded older than that as a pitching stat line for a season. 24-16,
right.
192, 41 starts, 20
40 decisions.
40 decisions, 29 complete games. How many leads the league now? 5?
3, 5, yeah. I don't know. It's so rare.
To win. I mean, morale being what it might have been in Miami. Maybe you get a new gear from a guy at this point of his career. You like to think so.
Definitely worth the dart throw, no question, in my opinion.
John Belushi. Here I thought I was taking a chance bringing up the Ronnie Harmon game.
The show ever sounded older.
Died 10 years before that. With Sal Capaccio on. Sal had your back.
Beat Dallas in the final. Dallas was going for a back-to-back, and New Jersey got him in the final with Larry Robinson.
That was that year?
Yep.
Jason Arnott?
Yep, righto. Yep.
Oh, has the show ever sounded older.
Yep. Uh, 803-0550 is the number. Let's squeeze Luke in here in this first segment. Hi, Luke. Thanks for calling. You're on WGR.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Just wanted to kind of get your opinion on Ryan Reeves. He's on waivers. Maybe we bring him in. He's 2 hours away. Sell some tickets. Elevate the team a little bit. What do you think?
I think that's one of the worst ideas I've ever heard. Thank you for calling.
Potentially a day of trades in the NFL, and we've already got one on the scoreboard as multiple reports have the LA Rams acquiring two-time Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns for two-time Pro Bowl edge rusher Jared Verse, a first-round pick in 2027, a second-round pick in 2028, and a third-round pick in 2029. Then the other trade to potentially keep an eye on here over the next couple of hours is Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown, potentially being moved to New England. This has long been reported, but the teams have had to wait until, 4 p.m. today. So the dead cap hit for the Eagles could be split over the next 2 seasons, making this trade even possible at all. Nothing official yet, but we'll keep you up to date if anything does come down. Those, though, were not the only things to keep an eye on for the NFL today. The Bills did make a small roster move, signing wide receiver Mac Delana and releasing cornerback Darryl Porter Jr. The Giants make a number of wide receiver signings, including bringing back Odell Beckham Jr. Beckham, of course, was with the Giants from 2014 until 2018, and they also are bringing in Juju Smith-Schuster. And then Russell Wilson. He appears to be making the move to television, as reports have him finalizing a deal to become a CBS sports analyst. Then in baseball, Mets out west versus Seattle today. First pitch at 9:40. It's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp.
You might be mocking me or you might be staunchly agreeing with me. I can't tell.
I'm mocking you.
And the Bulldog.
What is Fozzie Bear's role in this production?
On WGR, Sports Radio 550.
You see, or maybe just sort of know from having heard it a number of times, June 1st. Like in football, June 1st is a significant date on the calendar. So trades can happen. But there's also, you hear post-June 1st. But it isn't really post-June 1st. It's post-3:59 on June 1st, I believe.
That's right.
It's now. It's 4 o'clock on June 1st. Now we can have our fun.
That's the action hour. 4 p.m. is the
This
action
is
hour.
it?
It's the, in the league, almost, right? All the significant days in the league like this that are like player movement oriented, like 4 p.m. is when the new league year starts at 4 p.m. on that day of the free agency begins. Okay, the market's open. So 4 p.m. is the...
So this is it right now. This is the moment.
This is it.
The ball just dropped.
Right.
You're saying.
Let me refresh Twitter to see if A.J. Brown's been traded. Nothing yet.
I'm waiting to hear.
Yeah. Well, like Zach says, we'll let you know. It would be kind of rude of us to know that this information is available and not share it.
We really should probably report it.
That would be bad, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so isn't it exciting, everybody? 4 o'clock on June 1st has arrived.
No.
And so would Myles Garrett, do you know, would Myles Garrett have been a move that needed to wait until today?
I don't know.
Yes.
What they did with the contract. I just know it made it possible for this to happen. So I would imagine it's the same. Like, I'll bet it hasn't been official until 4 o'clock, that trade. The teams have agreed to it, so everyone's announcing it, but I think it would probably post 4 p.m.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Just for because they're splitting up that cap hit two different over this year and next year, which is the significance of the June 1 designation. Right? If you've got 40-some million dollars before June 1st, that all comes now. You wait until now, you can split that and spread it out over this year and next year, which is how that'll work. So,
did you get the time you needed to explain whatever that was really meant as when you talked about, like, sort of thinking that maybe you're less high on the Bills than consensus?
No, we haven't really dug in on
I've
that.
thought about it a few times, but
yeah.
I don't feel that I've really heard the argument.
I don't want to. I definitely am at least a little skeptical. I don't want to overdo it, but because I'm just a little shook. I just
by what?
Just the way the offseason began, the moves that were made, and I just don't assume that the beat goes on just because of Josh Allen. Like, I recognize they're probably going to continue to be a contending team here. So I'm not expecting them to, like, the bottom to fall out or anything. Because I think there's enough of an advantage to having that player that it makes enough of a difference in enough games that, you're going to be decent. But I just think there's a lot that probably gets taken for granted because of Allen's excellence that McDermott was responsible for, that I'm just not assuming is going to seamlessly be all lined up and perfect. They had really, there was dig stuff, right? But even that hardly swallowed them. Like, they did a good job of sort of staying out of just anything that could potentially be messy. And this is not to say that they absolutely will end up there. I'm just not assuming that Brady is going to have everything is buttoned up and that the guys are going to respond the same way and that the whole thing is going to be as tight as it was. I hope it is. I'm obviously rooting for Brady, but I just think it's a lot to just assume it's all going to be seamless. Like, it's a new head coach. It's a big deal. McDermott did a lot of building the infrastructure here.
We don't even know from recent years what it means. Like, for all those years where we felt like we had a new coach every 2 years or 3 years, and the Sabres were the same thing. Now it's like, oh, wow, what does this mean? And he was here. We don't even know yet. We have to talk about it some more. Flesh it out, Bulldog.
Mm-hmm.
With us now is Will Kunkel out of Houston. Recently had a sit-down with DJ Moore that we're interested in, and the Bills and Texans, who have been kind of rivals for a few years. The Bills have not had any success in Houston, and they will go back to Houston week 1 in 2026. Will, Mike, and Chris here. Thanks for joining us.
Mike, Chris, what's up, boys? I was going to say, for a rivalry, the other side's got to win every now and then.
My son is a Texans fan for reasons beyond my understanding, and his first game was against Houston, and Davis Mills played, and the Bills won, I think, 40-0 in the rain a few years ago. But, who remembers that, right? That doesn't count.
No, it was the sack session that was last year.
And the year before that wasn't so great either for Allen.
Yeah.
I really don't understand how my guy ended up with Houston. Yeah. Nothing against Houston. He just sort of random. And he had a Watson.
Like a fathering problem up there.
Maybe.
I'm not here to judge.
There you go, Will.
No, that might be right. Now. I need to look in the mirror. But he had a Watson jersey, and it's the only time I told him he couldn't wear something to school is when that happened. And, like, you know what? Let's dad.
This is not a flag you want to be flying right now.
To Will's point about my, whatevers as a father, like, this is one where I said, all right, I know better here, I think.
I think a JP Lawson jersey would even be better at that point.
Anybody, well, a lot of other guys, but yeah, anyway. Well, Will, let's start with the upcoming season and that week 1 game. How do you feel about the Texans' chances this year?
Well, I think it all comes down to the offense. Like, we all know what their defense is. We know it's going to be a top 5 defense. Obviously, injuries aside, that's always the caveat, but we know what you're going to get from the defense. We don't know what we're going to get from the offense. It comes down to whether they can protect C.J. Stroud and whether they can move bodies to run the ball. They want to be a downhill running team, but they didn't have the ability to do that. So they had no identity last season. It was like they threw spaghetti at the wall every single week trying to see what fit, and they would always rely on the defense to just keep them in a game long enough. My phrase going into last season, and it's going to be the same going into this season, is can the offense suck less? I'm not telling you to score 35 points a game. All I'm saying is control the clock, control the field, and score when you're in the red zone if you manage to get there. Let's just start crawling, then we'll start walking, and then we'll worry about the big picture stuff. But they're going to be there as long as their defense is healthy because defense keeps you in games. And I think they match up favorably with the Bills just because of that, of what the Bills do well versus what they don't do well, although I do think the Bills have a better outlook long-term in their successes because of Josh Allen, of course.
Yeah. How much has Stroud carried around the way last season went? The playoffs were tough for him and have been other years too. Like, is there – I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of radical, crazy fan opinions, but like how much of his failure and the team's failure should Stroud be carrying? in your view?
It's a great question. And I think the playoff failure, a lot really rests on his shoulders in regards to why they lost. Because he was not a guy that took care of the ball. He was not a guy that didn't lose the game. He didn't take care of the ball at all, and he lost the game. You don't lose a game by yourself in the NFL. Like, it's really hard to do. But this was kind of close. And I think he's aware of that. I think he knows that. I think he's had his humbling moments in the NFL because he came in as a rookie and took it over. Like, all the headlines are positive. All the outlook was great. He went on podcasts. He put himself in the top 5 of quarterbacks when he was asked where he ranked in the NFL. And I got no problem with that. Like, do that. Talk your smack. Be who you want to be after you have a great season. But then realize that now everyone's got film on you. Everyone's got a target on you. Now you've got to back it up. And there's expectations on your team. Because there were no expectations when he came in the NFL that the Texans were actually going to be good. We thought, okay, maybe 5-6 wins. And then it was like, holy crap, they made the playoffs. Now the expectations are real. How do you perform under that pressure? He didn't do that in the playoffs. But none of this stuff happens in a vacuum. Like, he didn't just play horribly because the protection was really good and they had a great running game and because Nico was out there. Like, they had a lot of injuries. The protection was horrible. Like, there's a lot of things that go wrong for someone to play poorly. It's not all on him, but the way that he operates, he's going to wear that. But it's also not as bad as some insane fans think that when he cut his hair, he did it because he was depressed. Like, that's nuts. Guys, look at a picture 5 years ago. He didn't have the dreads. The dreads are new to him in his life. He's just going back to what he was. And it's a better look for him, frankly, I think. And, like, don't read into everything. Like, fans are insane. There was a game, I think it was after the Bills game, actually, when Davis Mills got the game ball, and there was a freeze frame, which means there's a whole video, but there's a freeze frame of CJ not looking thrilled. He's just sitting there listening, and everyone's like, he's not even happy for Davis. He wants this team to fail. Like, that's an insane position to take because C.J. Stroud is hands and shoulders better than Davis Mills. It's his team. He's the starter. It's not even a conversation. So to turn that into a narrative is nuts. The way the season ended, you can't get it out of your mouth until you play again, and you can't deny how poorly it went. So I think he's going to have a much better season because the offensive line's got better. The running game should ideally get better. And hopefully Nick Caley, the offensive coordinator, has a better clue of how to put together a game plan and call plays.
Bills and Texans week 1 in Houston. Will Kunkel is our guest. We know that you want us to get into that 2015 Bills win over the Texans in which Marcus Easley made a couple of plays. I'm not even sure that's right. But we're not there yet in this conversation. Very interesting to hear about the fan dynamics with Stroud. Like, he's a high pick. The Bills in their playoff drought years, and we go back at least that far, well before that here, they just dabbled with different quarterbacks, but none of them really had you mentioned Lossman, actually, sort of funny. None of them really had the pedigree of a Stroud. And that changes the discourse, doesn't it? Like, and plus the rookie year that he had. So I bet, I understand that you're saying, Will, that there are fans, maybe even most, who are like kind of on the edge when it comes to him this year. Houston, however, has won playoff games 3 years in a row, second to only the Bills, who have done it 6 years in a row, and we don't have banners for that. So it's interesting to think about, like, what's on the line, I guess, is really the bottom line question with Stroud this year.
Well, I think his goal, if he doesn't get a deal before the season starts, just starting from the ground level, again, like we talked about, he needs to take care of the ball and not lose games. And then from there, slowly but surely, be a guy that is trusted in the big moment to take care of the ball and then make plays. Go out there and make game-winning plays. And he's done that before, so I don't want it to sound like he's, trying to figure out the NFL and what to do to be successful. Not only did that in his rookie year, he's done it his entire career. It just was inconsistent. But was it, again, like, fans are so irrational to where if you don't know the game extremely well, you just look at the head of the snake and that's got to be the quarterback, right? Well, it's not really. You don't have success as a quarterback without the offensive line and without an offensive game plan. And just for anyone that cares, they came out of a bye week against Seattle with a chance to prove something, and they got their ass kicked. And it had nothing to do with C.J. Stroud. It had everything to do with the lack of game plan, how to attack the Seattle's defense. And those problems are significantly larger than what you have a quarterback, because the quarterback's not going to be good if those foundational pieces aren't performing. So for him this season, all he's got to do is be a guy that says, all right, I'm a starter in the NFL, check. Top 15, probably, check for sure. And then if he has the support, he could be up to a top 10 type quarterback. So I don't think it's a matter of him getting paid. It's a matter of the two sides, David Mulligetta, his agent, and the Texans agreeing on the value. Because as you guys know, you can't just fire a coach and have no replacement. You got to know where you're going next. And with CJ, you've got somebody. And with this defense, you're not going to be bad enough to pick in top 5. So you better try to figure out a way to make CJ comfortable and have success.
Well, speaking of being comfortable and having success, you've already referenced a couple times, can they do a better job in front of him? And so that means a new left guard in Wyatt Teller, formerly a Bill, a new right tackle in the form of Braden Smith, and a rookie center. It's mini camp and it's underwear. So, to ask what the early returns are on that seems pretty stupid. So I won't ask you that. But what are your expectations for the three-fifths of a new offensive line?
It's interesting. So CJ talked last week at the podium, and I thought he said something very telling if you pay attention. And he said that the culture is starting to build right now with the offense. And that's important because the offense has never had a culture. It's never had an identity. The defense has had a strong culture. The building had a culture change when D'Amico Ryans was brought in and CJ and Will Anderson Jr., and the defense has an identity. The offense has never had that. Was it what we saw year one with CJ and Bobby Slowick? Well, then they got rid of Bobby Slowick. Then they bring in Nick Caley. They can't do anything successfully well. Like, you have no idea what they're going to do every game in, game out, because they don't know what they're going to do game in and game out. So I think culture-wise, they now have the most, at least from an eye test, the most formidable, large guys on the offensive line that they've ever had. Like, they've got guys that look like they can move bodies, and they talk the right talk. Laramie Tunsil that was addition by subtraction when they got rid of him, because, yes, he was a great pass-blocking left tackle, but he didn't practice, he didn't sacrifice, and he didn't want to run block. And he never protected his quarterback when it came to him getting late hits or anything like that. Like, bad leader in that room. So now they're just revamping this whole thing slowly but surely as they go. I thought they should have been more aggressive in the draft last year. That's neither here nor there. They've certainly gotten closer to where they want to be. Whether or not Kalen Rutledge plays center, that's going to be the real test for him as a rookie. So I think they're on the right track, and they've really started to change that culture and the vibe in that room.
With Will Kunkel in Houston, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, we wanted to talk about DJ Moore as well, who just a couple of days ago was on your podcast, Kicking It with Kunkel. How do you know DJ Moore?
DJ and I worked together. I said work together. He was with the Panthers, and I was covering the Panthers in Charlotte. So we were there. He came in the league the same time I started covering the league. We got to know each other. Our families got to know each other. We got close and have stayed in touch a bunch, clearly, ever since then. So he came on the show. We chopped it up. We got a tour of the house. We hung out on YouTube. And, man, y'all are getting a good one. A great family, a good wide receiver. He will play through anything. People have no idea the injuries that he's played through. So if he doesn't play, know that it's not good. And one thing I will say is that he took a lot of blame on that last play, that interception from Caleb Williams. And that was a play that was installed on Wednesday. No one really knew what they were doing, and it went awry, and he took all the flack because it looked like he wasn't hustling when in reality he was where he was supposed to be. So you guys are getting a good one.
I mean, it's got to be close to a given that he's tough like that because he never misses. Like, his career, he's on the field like DJ Moore. So there's no doubt about that. I wonder, I'm not trying to push back against you here, Will. Like you said, great family, good player. I wonder how good a player this is for the Bills. I mean, the one thing about DJ Moore, his whole career, and I respect this, is he doesn't have elite quarterback. And, we have guys like this. We had Allen Robinson for this. We have DJ Moore for this. Certain guys, they just seem a little bit trapped. Last year is different. I mean, the year he had with Justin Fields is off the charts. So, I don't know. Like, you're probably hearing a lot of that, too, because this is what we say after this trade is like, all right, fine, Josh Allen, okay. I'm in fantasy circles, and, people are going to be more excited about him, I guess, certainly than earlier in his career. So how high is the ceiling, in your opinion?
Well, it depends how Joe uses them. He and Joe have a history together. Joe was there with the Panthers when he was the offensive coordinator, and DJ was a wide receiver for him. We talked about that as well in the episode, but it depends how you use DJ. DJ's got the ability to kind of do everything. And if he's in an offense, which he is now with Joe, that's been around, that's established, that has an identity, that knows what they're doing, he's not with the rookie quarterbacks. Like, there was a lot of movement and a lot of change in Carolina, whether it be Matt Rule was his coach, Ron Rivera was his coach, Kyle Allen, Taylor Heineke, a bad Cam Newton, Teddy Bridgewater quarterbacks. I mean, Caleb Williams as a rookie trying to learn a horrible offensive line. And he still produced every single year. And I'm not trying to carry DJ Moore's water, but I will say going to a situation with an elite quarterback, a guy that's called plays in that building for a period of time where there's a culture established and there's an offensive game plan established, I think will do wonders for him. And he's willing to do almost everything, including come out of the backfield like he did last year.
How did you have I haven't had a chance to listen to this or watch this appearance he made on your podcast, Will. I'm curious if the subject at all came up that, his resume is he's never had a good quarterback really until last year. Williams kind of broke through and suddenly DJ Moore's a spare part. I mean, he lands in a great spot here with Josh Allen. So, certainly Allen is proven more in the league than Caleb Williams. But I wonder if the guy felt a little bit like, I finally have a guy, and but problem is I'm not the guy for the guy because they've got other guys that they have drafted and developed, and so he's getting passed. And I don't know, I just wonder how much that dinged him emotionally, if at all.
Oh, I think it definitely did. Like, it bothered him because whenever he was called on, he made plays. I mean, he's got the biggest plays in Bears history against the Packers. Like, every time the ball was thrown his way and his number was called, he came up with huge numbers and huge plays. So I know it did, and understandably so. But also, I get it. Like, if Ben Johnson, for whatever reason, wanted to go to his players that he drafted and his guys, which we see all the time in this business, then okay. Now the Bills clearly want him. They want to showcase him, or else they wouldn't have gotten him. And the Bills, I mean, let's be honest, like, they haven't had a number one wide receiver since Steph Diggs left. This time they finally do. It'll be interesting how they use them.
Yeah, left for Houston in a trade a couple of years ago. Will, I mean, if you don't mind my asking, because it's the news of the day, what do you think about this Myles Garrett trade?
Man, crazy. Kind of saw it coming from last year because he demanded the trade and they played through not wanting to be there, just a bad team. I love it from the standpoint of we get to see one of the best players of our generation on a relevant team. Like, the Browns just waste careers every single year. So to be able to see Myles Garrett somewhere relevant, I think will be a lot of fun. Imagine if now Aaron Donald's like, I'll come back. Like, that would be insane to even think about. But what a haul the Browns got. Oh, my gosh, to get what they got in return in Verse and all the picks. Good on them. I can't wait to see how they blow it and continue to destroy their franchise.
There's some chance of that, I suppose, to be frank.
I mean, do we trust that, like, if you're a Browns fan, you're sitting there and be like, oh, hell yeah, now we can really go after it finally? Like,
no, you know what? I would say this, because I tend to lean toward teams like the Browns in trades like these. I mean, I can't quit the draft capital stuff. If the Browns weren't the Browns and they were even the Titans, or they were some team that's relatively new to losing, they would get a lot more credit probably. Yeah. And I'm not saying that's fair or unfair, because talking about how a Browns fan feels, I mean, you're asleep already. You're not even necessarily alert to this because it's just been so many times. We have the Sabres who got good this year, but there were so many of these kind of moves where, like, okay, well, wake me up when it matters. And I mean, that could be Watson this year. I don't know. I mean,
if they had a competent front office, I think everyone would be like, holy crap, hell yeah, let's go, versus, I mean, okay, we'll see what happens.
At least you got the player here in this trade and not just picks.
Right.
At least you got the player. And there's a lot to like about him. So
you mentioned the Sabres. Quick question for y'all.
Please.
Do you guys view Buffalo as a Bills or Sabres town?
It's really not one or the other.
Yeah.
That's our list.
I mean, the Bills are a bigger deal. I mean, they're in the NFL, which is a bigger deal.
Fair.
But, Around here, Will, I'll take a kick at this answer. I mean, it sort of woke us all up this year, having the Sabres, get relevant again and sort of re-energize the fan base. It's always very much to me been a city thing versus suburbia to me. Like the Bills planted their flag in Orchard Park, 25 minutes south of the city, and they've got a great scene there. But to me, like I live in the city, and I've lived in the city almost the entirety of my adult life. Things that make the city itself percolate always resonate more with me. And the Sabres are a city thing. They're, little taverns in that part of town. It's just a different thing than, the NFL feels more like a really nice mall. And, the Sabres are more like a city sports team to me. Like, it's just because the NFL is just so big. So, I don't know. That's a try at an answer anyway.
We're definitely both.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
No shortage of love for either team. And we just finally got to experience the Sabre excitement, to put it mildly.
Y'all deserved it.
Yeah, right? 15 years without a playoff appearance. That's crazy.
Yeah. Real quick before you go, Will, like what is it, division title again or bust? Like who's in the rearview mirror for Houston?
Well, I think they have to take the next step. Like they have to get to an AFC championship game. They've never done it. And I know that's not a realistic thing to say. But when you have this defense, like it's not easy to win an AFC championship. Like, it's just not, despite what fans think. However, playing that Saturday 3:00 game year in and year out, only to go on the road, like you need to put yourself in position to have home field advantage through the playoffs. That way, your defense can show up and show out like they did against that Bills team last year. Like that was a buzzsaw to run into for the Bills. Like it was just like a bad recipe. And if they don't put themselves in position and they can't do it again, then the thing is with the Texans right now, they have an entity in that defense that they're wasting if they can't get over the hump because the offense is so bad. It's not like you're asking the offense to score 40 a game. You've got the entity that is elite in defense. Now you just need to be average at best on a consistent basis to get to the next level. But as I was saying, it's like looking at a pretty girl coming down the street. It can be good from far, and then all of a sudden you get real close. And you're like, damn, far from good. These Texans are under a microscope right now. So you're seeing all the imperfections, and that's where they're tweaking right now. That's what they're doing on the offensive line. But that's also what is on display the most in those games. So in the biggest moments against the best teams, are those flaws going to show themselves, or have they fixed those, and can they win those games because they're now at that next level? It's so easy to go from 3 wins to like 8 wins. It's so hard to go from 10 to 13 or 13 to 14, whatever it is, because the fine tuning is so difficult.
Will Kunkel, our guest. Check out his podcast, a sit down about a half an hour with DJ Moore. Thanks for your time, Will. Hope we talk again maybe before week 1.
I appreciate you, boys. Take care. Thanks for having me again.
You're welcome. Our pleasure. Will Kunkel at Will Kunkel V on Twitter. X, if you prefer.
Going with that. All right.
Let's take a break. 803-0550 for your calls. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.
trades in the NFL, and we'll start with the latest one as, yes, after weeks of speculation, wide receiver A.J. Brown is on his way to New England. The Patriots have made it official, and in return, Philadelphia gets a 2028 first and a fifth in 2027. And then earlier today, perhaps the bigger of the two trades, the Rams are acquiring two-time Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns for a first in 2027, a second in 2028, a third in 2029, and two-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Jared Verse. That is not the only news, though, in the NFL. The Bills had themselves a small move as well, signing wide receiver Magdalena and releasing cornerback Darryl Porter Jr. And then the Giants added some wide receivers, including bringing back Odell Beckham Jr. Beckham Jr., of course, with the Giants from 2014 until 2018. And then the Giants also bringing in Juju Smith-Schuster. And then in baseball, Mets out west tonight versus Seattle. First pitch at 9:40. It's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for West New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
There was a lot of movement and a lot of change in Carolina, whether it be Matt Rule was his coach, Ron Rivera was his coach, Kyle Allen, Taylor Heineke, a bad Cam Newton, Teddy Bridgewater quarterbacks. I mean, Caleb Williams as a rookie trying to learn a horrible offensive line, and he still produced every single year. And I'm not trying to carry DJ Moore's water, but I will say going to a situation with an elite quarterback, a guy that's called plays in that building for a period of time where there's a culture established and there's an offensive game plan established, I think will do wonders for him. And he's willing to do almost everything, including come out of the backfield like he did last year.
Our guest from just before, Will Kunkel out of Houston, who sat down with DJ Moore recently on his podcast. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, 803-0550. A.J. Brown to the Patriots is happening, as many have expected to have happen for literally months. I don't want to look for anything in the betting markets because I think they've all assumed this would happen with New England.
I think that's probably right.
A 28 first. So 2 first-round picks moved today. That's a 28 to the Eagles and also a 27 fifth from New England to Philadelphia, and then you have the Garrett trade. Does A.J. Brown do anything for you in terms of the Bills and the Patriots? He probably should.
It absolutely makes the Patriots better. I might even want to say when you consider that they already – did they trade for Romeo Doubs, or was that a free agent? I don't remember. They've added Doubs.
I think signed.
Already. So I think that makes them – their receiving core is, to me, much more dangerous than it was last year. And that's even considering that Diggs was there last year. I think those two players, but especially Brown. Brown outweighs Doubs by a lot.
Diggs, Hollins, Kayshon Boutte, rookie Kyle Williams. They have
Pop Douglas.
They have poured real draft capital into that position and gotten nowhere. Remember the 2 seconds?
Right.
In the Coleman draft, Polk and Baker?
Yeah.
Is that 2 seconds?
I don't think.
It's second and a fourth.
Baker was a fourth, I think. Yeah,
second and a fourth.
Yeah, Polk was higher up.
And then Kyle Williams was kind of a guy last year.
A moment or two last year, right? Yeah. No, I think Brown, to me, the whatever concern you have about him being a headache, notwithstanding, because it's a receiver, and Diggs came with his set of concerns when the Bills acquired him, and that went well until it didn't. So maybe you can expect it to be calm for a little while here with Brown, and that should worry you. It worries me. It's funny, like this trade has been assumed that it would happen for so long that it doesn't feel like you're saying the betting markets probably already were reflecting to some degree Brown being on the Patriots. I think. So, like, in my head, I already was assuming he was going to be on the Patriots. So I might be underselling how big a deal it is, but I think it's a huge deal. For the Bills, for the division, it's a big deal. I mean, May was second in the MVP voting last year. And they've added not one but two.
He almost won.
Real upgrades here. I mean, and Brown, to me, Brown can be elite. Like, he's a number one to me. And I don't think there's really been a lot of signs of deterioration there in his game. It's just been they can't seem to get, they can't seem to agree on the coach, the quarterback, the OC, whatever in Philadelphia. It just seemed like a mess. And maybe Brown can get clear of that and just go put up 110 catches and 12 touchdowns or something, which I think he's entirely capable of doing.
There's knee stuff with him.
Okay.
And he'll be 29, not that that's ancient, but this June. I guess I would have no trouble if I'm New England talking myself into this. This is what you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they went to the Super Bowl. They probably know, I would say this about them. I think most people would say the same thing. They probably know they were not really that good, but they did it. And what's the next step? I guess winning it is the only next step. Won the division, got to the last game, lost.
Yeah. I mean, the Bills traded for Diggs going into Allen's third year. And so we are at May's third year. And they've already obviously exceeded, where the Bills have even ever been the entire time Allen's been here in only 2 years with May. But yeah, I mean the timing lines up like, okay, we know we have a guy who's to say capable is we have a guy who's capable of being the MVP of the league. I think have plenty of reason to believe that wasn't a fluke. So yeah, let's push some chips in. And I mean, it's nice for them. They don't have to go without a first-round pick next year. They'd be able to push that off to 2028 is some work, because that almost – doesn't that feel kind of like it's a second?
Yep.
Right now, like sitting here today, when am I giving up this pick? When? Okay. It's a whole other draft after this one that is not for another 11 months or 10 months. Like, okay. It makes it a little easier to part with it. No interest or payments for 2 years.
Right.
I mean, right. So I kind of love it for New England. I wish I didn't, but I think, what is the risk? The risk is he's got a knee thing, and there's been, just how mercurial he's been over the last few seasons in Philadelphia.
That wouldn't scare me.
So, I mean, right, it's a top shelf receiver. You're almost always getting something like that.
Vrabel was his coach. He would know what he's getting.
Right, that's right.
In Tennessee.
Yep.
Yeah, that part of it doesn't really scare me. What would the downside is if he breaks down physically, which he hasn't been the picture of not being susceptible to that. You never know. But it's what teams in their position do if they're not asleep at the wheel. They make trades like this. So couldn't criticize it from New England side. Philadelphia, I don't know. I mean, it's Hurts, Barkley, who's on probably the last years of his career.
Yep.
Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is nice, but he's not A.J. Brown. Like, he's not. A.J. Brown, what would be, I think, for me, the most exciting thing if the Bills got him would just be red zone, 3rd and X, where, like, good luck. If he's on the field, DJ Moore is not this. Like, Brown is the guy that you can plan all you want for him to be, if you're on defense, like for A.J. Brown to be the target, he still gets there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what, Diggs was this, but even Brown is maybe on the same level as like prime Brown versus prime Diggs. Diggs actually had a better year statistically last year than Brown did, even though Brown missed 2 games, but catches and yards, not touchdowns, but he topped him. So I would love that for May. And the Bills really, DJ Moore is fine. He's not this. He's not somebody that when the ball is going there, it still goes there and it works. I would like that. Philadelphia, do they have that? I mean, they just traded that.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to look and see. Like, I think Devontae Smith is nice, real nice. It's possible he can develop into like an all-around number 1 receiver, but for right now, he's dinged, in my opinion, by being the number 2 on a team with A.J. Brown on it. Like, that's pretty good work if you can get it. Like,
he's small.
Right. That was the knock on him coming into the draft even.
After he just won the Heisman.
So where are they at now? They're at rookie Mekhi Lemon, who they famously, stole too strong from Pittsburgh on draft night, but whatever. They found their way to Mekhi Lemon, and they also have a former Packer in the fold too, Wicks. Yeah, like those are look at their depth chart. Those are their top three. Got Hollywood Brown's there now.
Yep. Goddard.
Johnny Wilson, the big guy from Florida State. Elijah Moore's on the Eagles, too, just looking at the depth chart. But their top three are Wicks, Smith, and Lemon.
And they have not been a team that needed a third with Brown. It was Brown and Smith. Like that
right.
The narrowest route or target distribution in the NFL, maybe, with those guys. So we'll see what Lemon is. Stauer is a tight end, another rookie that I've become convinced to like more than the Jets guy, Sadiq, even though he was drafted after him. What can they be as rookies? Interesting team. They've had a pretty good run. They won a Super Bowl. They went to another. They've had, I'm talking like post-Peterson with Hurts. They've really been outstanding. This is a big move for them. Not a surprising one, but a pretty big move for them. Marcus Easley, you didn't mention him.
I didn't see his name there. That's why. If I'd seen it, I would have said it.
Do you remember this? So I was joking with our Houston guest because he said something about like the Texans always beat the Bills, or not. That's not a quote. But then I dug up this game from 2015 where the Bills beat Houston in Orchard Park, and Marcus Easley had a pick.
Had a pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Would that have been on a Hail Mary or something?
Maybe. I don't remember it at all. What I remember about Marcus Easley is him catching a big touchdown to give the Bills the lead in the London game against Jacksonville the first time around.
Me too. EJ.
Right. When Manuel had to fill in for Tyrod, I think even that was. Wasn't it? Like EJ was, I think he was playing for someone else. I don't think it was when he had the job. It was like a sort of a last stand for. It might even be his last start in the league.
Interesting. Okay.
I kind of want to look that up. But anyway,
what about for the Raiders?
Yeah, I don't remember him ever really playing for anyone else. I know he did try, but I'm just as far as like
he started one game for the Raiders.
Okay. All right. Well, then it wasn't his last.
But Marcus Easley had a pick in that game against Houston.
I don't remember that at all.
Seeing it on the stats. Yeah. Watson had a big game. This game I remember for how J.J. Watt did nothing. Houston came in and he was the man, and just they completely took him out of the game. Well, that's what you get from us. You never can really plan on it. Random polls from Bills games of yore. There's one. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, 803-0550. Big trades in the NFL today. We'll talk more about it as we continue after this here on WGR. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. We wanted to talk about DJ Moore as well, who just a couple of days ago was on your podcast, Kicking It with Kunkel. How do you know DJ Moore?
DJ and I worked together. I said work together. He was with the Panthers, and I was covering the Panthers in Charlotte. So we were there. He came in the league the same time I started covering the league. We got to know each other. Our families got to know each other. We got close and have stayed in touch a bunch, clearly. Ever since then. So he came on the show, we chopped it up, we got a tour of the house, we hung out on YouTube, and man, y'all are getting a good one. A great family, a good wide receiver. He will play through anything. People have no idea the injuries that he's played through. So if he doesn't play, know that it's not good. And one thing I will say is that he took a lot of blame on that last play, that interception from Caleb Williams. And that was a play that was installed on Wednesday. No one really knew what they were doing, and it went awry, and he took all the flack because it looked like he wasn't hustling when in reality he was where he was supposed to be. So you guys are getting a good one.
That. I wonder, I'm not trying to push back against you here, Will. Like you said, great family, good player. I wonder how good a player this is for the Bills. I mean, the one thing about DJ Moore, his whole career, and I respect this, is he doesn't have elite quarterback. And, you know, we have guys like this. We had Allen Robinson for this. We have DJ Moore for this. Certain guys, they just seem a little bit trapped. Last year is different. I mean, the year he had with Justin Fields is off the charts. So I don't know. Like, you're probably hearing a lot of that too, because this is what we say after this trade is like, all right, fine, Josh Allen, okay. I'm in fantasy circles, and, you know, people are going to be more excited about him, I guess, certainly than earlier in his career. So how high is the ceiling, in your opinion?
Well, it depends how Joe uses them. He and Joe have a history together. Joe was there with the Panthers when he was the offensive coordinator, and DJ was a wide receiver for him. We talked about that as well in the episode, but it depends how you use DJ. DJ's got the ability to kind of do everything. And if he's in an offense, which he is now with Joe, that's been around, that's established, that has an identity, that knows what they're doing, and he's not with a rookie quarterback. Like, there was a lot of movement and a lot of change in Carolina, whether it be Matt Rule was his coach, Ron Rivera was his coach, Kyle Allen, Taylor Heineke, a bad Cam Newton, Teddy Bridgewater quarterbacks. I mean, Caleb Williams as a rookie trying to learn a horrible offensive line, and he still produced every single year. And I'm not trying to carry DJ Moore's water, but I will say going to a situation with an elite quarterback, a guy that's called plays in that building for a period of time where there's a culture established and there's an offensive game plan established, I think will do wonders for him. And he's willing to do almost everything, including come out of the backfield like he did last year.
If the subject at all came up that, you know, yeah, his resume is he's never had a good quarterback really until last year. Williams kind of broke through, and suddenly DJ Moore's a spare part. I mean, he lands in a great spot here with Josh Allen. So, you know, certainly Allen is proven more in the league than Caleb Williams. But I wonder if the guy felt a little bit like, I finally have a guy, and problem is I'm not the guy for the guy, because they've got other guys that they have drafted and developed, and so he's getting passed. And I don't know, I just wonder how much that dinged him emotionally, if at all.
Oh, I think it definitely did. Like, it bothered him because whenever he was called on, he made plays. I mean, he's got the biggest plays in Bears history against the Packers. Like, every time the ball was thrown his way and his number was called, he came up with huge numbers and huge plays. So I know it did, and understandably so. But also, I get it. Like, if Ben Johnson, for whatever reason, wanted to go to his players that he drafted and his guys, which we see all the time in this business, then okay. Now the Bills clearly want him. They want to showcase him, or else they wouldn't have gotten him. And the Bills, I mean, let's be honest, like, they haven't had a number one wide receiver since Steph Diggs left. This time they finally do. It'll be interesting how they use him.
No Yankees tonight.
What am I going to do?
I was asking myself that. What's on? The Mets are in Seattle. Oof. That's not happening. That's way too far away.
That's not an option. I've not even thought about it. I'm focused on tomorrow.
Why not live in the present, though?
Game one of the final tomorrow, and then NBA on Wednesday. I watched almost all of Game 7 between the Spurs and Thunder Saturday night. Yeah, loved it. This happens to me with basketball. Last year I was invested in the Thunder because they were first on deck in a 4-leg championship winning parlay. So I was into watching them. and they were new enough to me that it was kind of fun. Man, Wembanyama is just a blast to watch. I mean, there's been very few guys that I feel like it doesn't look like he should be good because he moves. He's so big that he doesn't move that fluidly, or at least he's probably moving very fluidly for someone 7'7" or 7'6", but that just looks weird. There's a lot of elbows and knees and stuff all over the place, but he just is draining 30-footers, and I love watching him. I can't get enough.
Easy game.
Yeah.
We starting in New York Wednesday?
Good question.
Probably.
I don't. Yeah, I did not.
I don't know.
I didn't check.
I should have looked.
Yeah.
There's no way to find out, though. That's the thing. Sometimes you just can't find out.
You never get to know.
You just have to guess.
Yeah.
We'll talk some more about Myles Garrett and A.J. Brown on the move after the break. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.
A day of trades did, in fact, happen for the NFL. We've got two of them. First one up, after weeks of speculation, A.J. Brown is on his way to New England. That was officially reported by both teams. Philadelphia gets in return a 2028 first and a fifth in 2027, while the first one, and perhaps even the bigger one, also officially is done as the L.A. Rams acquire two-time Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns for a first in 2027, a second in 2028, a third in 2029, and then two-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Jared Verse. That's not the only news in the NFL. The Bills do make a small roster addition, signing wide receiver Mac Delana, and to get that done, they released cornerback Darryl Porter Jr. The Giants bringing in two wide receivers, including one that's a reunion, Odell Beckham Jr., who, of course, was with the Giants from 2014 until 2018, and then they're also bringing in Juju Smith-Schuster, and then Russell Wilson. He appears to be making the move to television, as reports have him finalizing a deal to become a CBS Sports analyst. Then in baseball, later on tonight, Mets are out west versus Seattle. First pitch at 9:40. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for West New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp.
It's nothing you did.
It's not you, it's me.
It's not you. It's you, but you didn't cross me.
And the Bulldog.
Why did I just stay in school?
On WGR, Sports Radio 550.
Welcome back. This song, by the way, Austin Powers theme, I had this song on my answering machine. Has the show ever sounded older than a reference to my answering machine? I made this little bit, basically, of... I'm talking and in and out with clips of the movie and everything with that song behind it. I did that.
That probably wasn't annoying at all to reach that.
You get that. You got to sit there for like 45 seconds to hear me perform.
Yeah, no good. No good. Probably got a lot of hang-ups. Yeah.
Well, that was the point.
Well, all right. Then, well executed.
You have to earn it. You have to sit through my stuff, and then you then can leave me a message.
I am 100% sure I, at some time or another, held that answering machine up to a speaker of a stereo system trying to get like a specific part of a song onto my, greeting. And I don't know if it ever worked or not. Anybody who would ever remember having called me would have to tell me, because it's very possible I just never got the result I wanted and then gave up. But I just remember fooling around with those tiny little tapes.
Oh, yeah.
Those tiny little tapes.
They go into the machine.
Yeah. So
super small.
Such an antiquated technology
tiny
we're
tapes.
talking about here. Tiny
smaller than
tapes.
the DAT tapes.
Yes. By almost half, I would say.
Digital audio?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Today's two big trades. I get it. Who doesn't for the Rams? I get it for the Browns. I kind of really like it for the Browns. But that's me. I'm always like here for the draft picks. That's where I want to fly my flags on how much draft capital I have. I get it for the Patriots. I don't know if I get it for the Eagles. That's the team in the mix that I wonder if it was just a personality problem. You've got big personalities in Philadelphia, starting with the coach.
Right.
Or even the GM, or even the owner. Like, there's a lot of ego there, and it seemed like that just couldn't last.
Don't leave out Big Dom.
And, of course, whatever he is.
Big Dom.
What is he? He's not an assistant coach.
No.
Head of security?
Sure.
Even their head of security is famous?
But, I think it's definitely personality-driven, this thing. I guess you could sell me on age. Maybe they're more concerned about injury because they've had them and they know maybe, it's trend going the wrong way or whatever. But, no, it definitely is like he read a book during a playoff game or whatever the hell that was, season before last. And they're just the stuff. So they're to really they feel the Eagles to me, and this will sound ridiculous if they go out and win their 13 games, but like I think if they don't have a great year, there could be big changes there. Like coach, quarterback, like I think they're.
It always feels like that's right on the cusp of happening.
And I think they maybe make this move in an effort to try to salvage the overall. Like whatever part Brown played, whether he was the instigator or just someone who was reacting to whatever was happening, he was in the middle of almost every, sideways negative thing about them for a couple of years. So I could see them saying, Howie, before you fire me, before we decide that Jalen Hurts can't do this for us long term, or that I can't, let's try to alleviate this one pressure point. We've had a consistent pressure point problem here. They still won a lot of games, but maybe just wanted to try it with a cleaner sheet, if you will, which is, I guess there's something to be said for that, but they didn't get better today. The Eagles. I mean, they prepared for this by making the move for Wicks and drafting Lemon. So they're ready to, they've got ready-made replacements, but none of those guys have Lemon's a rookie. Nobody's accomplished what Brown has accomplished.
803-0550. Sean is with us. Hello.
Hey, gentlemen. How we doing?
Good. Thanks for calling, Sean.
All right. So super down on the Bills. I'm kind of I know, Chris, you're not, or you're kind of towing the line right now and waiting to see. Just don't get Brady. I just don't feel it. I don't feel him as being a leader, a difference maker. I feel him being like a homeboy. I feel him being a buddy, and I do think that can have a adverse effect on the Brown situation, man. I mean, walking to an off season here. All right, we got DJ Moore right out of the gate, and that kind of felt like okay, good player, but, gave up a lot, yada, yada. And then the Patriots come in with Dobbs and Brown, and I don't know how in God's name the Bills are favored to win this division. I would anticipate right now that kind of flips around after this trade, and it irks me because it's like the Pats load up, and now they could still play us against the world card when they've got A.J. Brown and Romeo Dobbs coming off of going into a season where Drake May showed that he's basically MVP caliber. I just think the Patriots in all position groups are better than the Bills, and the quarterback might be a wash. It might be a wash when it comes down to QB. Yeah, Josh has done more special things over the history, but at this stage, it could very well be a wash. Head coach is obviously advantage in their part. I have a lot of concerns going into the year, and I honestly think it's like kind of the beginning of the end. That's my
that's a lot more than I would want to say. Yeah, I mean, I said something in passing a week ago and never really elaborated on it about how I'm just a little more. I might share more I share a lot of your concerns. I don't think that we talked about this last hour. The Brown trade was assumed for so long that I'd be surprised. It could happen. The odds could change.
It's not gonna.
But I don't think they will. I think they've been sort of baked in already, expecting this move to happen. So it has. And so, what is that? How do you explain that? Well, New England did play a really soft schedule. They just kind of got away with a year where they didn't have to be great. And they had a great year, which happens sometimes. So I think expecting some regression from them is fine. Like I'm not thinking they're going to run roughshod over everyone, because they really did not have that kind of year last year. The win total, might get you to think that, but to me, they weren't like head and shoulders or anything like that. So, but on the Bills, I'm not assuming that Joe Brady is just going to seamlessly keep this thing running the direction it's running. They also played a soft schedule last year, Buffalo, and it's going to be a lot harder this year.
The caller is assuming that he will not. Brady will not keep it going.
Right, yeah.
The caller is assuming
right, and I'm
not,
well. But I get the concern. To me, it's a lot to assume that it just will seamlessly go on.
This is another one where, I'm in the business. How does anybody feel like they know that? Command of the locker room, these kinds of things. Well, how does anybody have any idea if that's true? I don't think you have to assume that he's going to be fine in that area either, because if you ask the Bills, they'll do what everybody always does, which is tell you that everything's good. Like nobody's going to poke holes in them.
Right.
But I don't know, man. It just seems like why try so hard to expect the worst? Really, that feels like an effort. The line might move. I don't know that it won't. I think something else significant would have to happen because, like you said, I believe this trade has been assumed for a long time. So you might have thought May 1st that you were getting in good on New England as plus 125 in the AFC East. Not really. I mean, that's what it is today, and the trade happened. And the Bills are minus 125, which does not make them a huge favorite.
No.
But it does make them a favorite, the favorite in the AFC East. Over-under wins, Buffalo 10.5. They're both 10.5. Bills, this is at DraftKings, minus 125 on the over. New England, minus 150 to the under. The Patriots, you were in the middle of a point about the Bills' schedule last year. I mean, the Patriots had an all-time gift of a schedule. Everything about it turned out to be you wouldn't even have the nerve to write it up. It's just like it would feel unfair to write up their schedule. They lost to the Steelers and the Raiders at home, by the way, last year, New England. And then they lost, what? They lost one more. The Bills game. The Bills beat them.
Came back and beat them. Yeah.
Right, from 21-0, wasn't it?
The 21-point lead. I don't remember if it was 24-3 or what, but yeah.
And the Bills' schedule last year was somewhat the same, but it's funny, like where it was different was Pittsburgh and Vegas, and those are games they lost.
Right.
Where the Bills played Baltimore and Kansas City instead.
Right.
And they beat both of those teams.
And they swept those games, right?
So I don't know.
Yeah.
The caller is a little bit too negative for me. Like
I think it's only fair to point out if you want to ding New England for playing the schedule they played, you got to do some of that. Again, the differences between the first place team and not. But the Bills had a soft schedule too. That doesn't mean they played all cupcakes, but now they're in New England. So to me, if you're going to ding New England for that, I think you got to, to be fair about it, mention the Bills' schedule too. And likewise, this year now New England will get a first place look at that, and the Bills were second. And so what are those differences this year? Well, as it turns out, Kansas City didn't finish first in their division this year, so the Patriots don't have that crossover.
No, but they both play the entire AFC West.
Anyway.
So that difference is 3 games. New England would play Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, and Seattle. And the Bills will play Baltimore, advantage Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Houston, advantage push. Rams.
I like Jacksonville a little better than Houston, but it's a bad matchup for the Bills, I guess.
Week 1 away.
So, yeah.
And then the Rams instead of the Seahawks. That might be a push, too.
Yeah, that's pretty close. Yeah.
So maybe slight edge Patriots, but not massive.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sean. Here's Zach next. Hello, Zach.
Hey, the trade really doesn't move the needle for me at all. Maybe it's because I kind of felt it was assumed for a long time, but I would bet the Patriots might have hit their ceiling with Vrabel already. Did they not? Forgive me, I'm driving. Did they not win the AFC and then they got the bye? They played a tired Houston team. I mean, congrats, it's a nice win, but then that game in Denver was not really a game. It was a half and a snowstorm, and they held on.
Well,
they got embarrassed.
They didn't. The only thing you got wrong here is they didn't get the one in the bye. That's why they were in Denver. Denver was the one.
They had to beat the Chargers.
They had to beat. They played a wild card game.
But thank you. That's why I couldn't figure out. I mean, I want to take nothing away from them. I mean, you guys broke the 4 games that were the difference, and oddly enough, the Bills won those 2. I would argue were really hard games. Were the second and third betting favorites to go to the Super Bowl in Baltimore and Kansas City going into this year. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think they might have peaked. I mean, the roster's good, and I don't know. I question this whole Vrabel Rossini thing. I don't know. That's got to have some effect, right? I don't know. I mean. But I would give it a push, and I'd give it to Josh Allen, an edge to Allen. I feel like they got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder with having lost the division to them last year.
Okay, thanks, Zach. Look, it's one thing to say, like we're talking about from the previous caller, how the betting line might not move. But what's different is that A.J. Brown is on the team.
Right.
Whether we thought that was going to happen 2 months ago or not, okay.
Lining up to defend them just got harder.
Yeah.
Without argument. They're better. They made a big, to me, a significant ad today. Like the guy, if he's right, I mean, you got to hit on it, but it's a scary move, I think. I mean, that's a team that already, yes, schedule advantages, whatever, was better than you last year. And they got it. I got DJ Moore. They got A.J. Brown. I mean, I think they got the better guy, but we'll see who has the better year. I mean, there's a lot that will impact that. Chiefly health, probably more than anything else. If both guys stay on the field and are healthy, I'd expect Brown to outperform DJ Moore. That's just,
Well, I would too, and that goes back to our Houston guest. I think I would say the same as he did, which is it depends on how the Bills use DJ Moore. Like, if he's going to be a Diggs-esque target hog, then I might not be so quick to say that. But I doubt that happens. Do you agree? I doubt that DJ Moore is 150 targets. Is that a little bit aggressive to think that won't happen?
No, I don't think so at all.
I don't think he's 8-9 targets a game. I think they'll want a consistent floor out of him. They'll want some big plays out of him. I don't know that he's a touchdown guy really, unless it comes in those other, from those other ways. But I think that will be probably the difference, because the Patriots, with this trade and who Brown is, I just don't think you bother unless you're ready to sort of like, all right, here's our number one, and that was Diggs here, and this is even maybe more of that than what Diggs was here.
Yeah, and it's new. The Bills, like, Moore's new here, but Allen isn't as new to all of this. Like, he's got his guys here. He's been, free of Diggs and free of whatever inherent pressure there was to feed him, either from the coaching staff or from Diggs himself. And he just is, he's just playing his game now. And May might still, I guess I'm trying to say that it's easier to see a guy like May feeling like, I got to feed this guy. I got this guy here. He's got a certain reputation, maybe like Allen felt about Diggs when they first got together. But now Allen is up here in his career, and I doubt he feels like, I got to make sure DJ Moore's happy. He's got to play his position, and hopefully DJ Moore helps him a lot, and he wants to feed him, but it's not the same. The swing thought is not similar because of the trajectory of their careers. May is more likely to feel like, I got to make sure this guy's getting his 8 or 10 a game. Whereas I don't think Allen is really going to handle himself that way.
Are we done with Everybody Eats? Is that retired? Are the Bills going to talk about Everybody Eats?
That's a good question.
Did it work? Do they think it worked? Like, would they roll that back? I mean, I think if I'm in PR and I'm in the room, I'd be like, let's not.
Let's stop with the shirts.
I listen to the radio, and let's not. We don't really need Everybody Eats anymore.
Yeah.
But what was their record the last 2 years?
And they were excellent.
They'll talk up Kincaid being healthy and maybe, stronger. That's always a big one. What Shakir has done, what DJ Moore has done in his career. Is that Everybody Eats? Is that just
really
sort of like a normal
I wonder,
offense?
how does a thing like that go away? Like, the team can stop saying it, but they're going to be asked about it at some point. Camp is going to. Maybe it's already come up, and I just haven't paid close enough attention. There's another round of OTAs this week, right? And eventually we get to a mini camp.
Yeah, we'll talk to Sal tomorrow. They're talking tomorrow. So that's the day where they can watch it.
Okay, so eventually DJ Moore's here now. You've got a 4th-round pick. You're going to try to get on the field. What's the status of the slogan? Like, Allen will get asked. Maybe Brady will get asked too. I wonder what they say.
Yes. I think if I'm Allen, I'm not going to be Allen. I think I'll predict it goes like this. Well, sure. We want to distribute the ball to lots of different guys. It's been a strength for us, but I don't think he says it. I think he probably won't run away from it because, you don't have to. They were pretty successful. You don't have to, say, well, no, it's all different now. The same play caller, the same quarterback, and they won how many games. Right. You don't have to run away from it, but I don't think I want to keep saying it.
They show up in July. It's like, Actually, the new motto is DJ Moore eats.
Nobody eats.
DJ Moore eats. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Nobody. Everybody else is just sort of hoping that some of the food falls on the floor.
Right.
No, that's what I predict.
Table scraps.
You don't hear
our new philosophy.
The phrase anymore. Table scraps. You don't hear the phrase anymore. But come on, like, how much of a failure was it really?
It really wasn't one until the last 2 passes of the season were intended for McCole Hardman and Brandon Cooks. And then it kind of stung. Then it was kind of like...
It stood out to you
this
then.
is a little stark, I think. Who? What? Seriously? And you're like a Super Bowl favorite?
And then there's the Coleman saga. Right. Let's go to Bill here. Hi, Bill.
Hey, guys. I think both teams will take a step back this year. But obviously one of the two is going to win the division.
That's right. Somebody has to.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, without getting too deep into the weeds on it, I think they fired the wrong guy. I think Bean's been the problem. I think he needs to go for all the reasons we've talked about for years and years at this point. But, like, the fact that, like, I think they're going to take a step back, and they're going to have to prove me wrong first. Like I said, I think they fired the wrong guy, and if McDermott had to go, I think both of them should have gone. But regardless, like, we'll wait and see how the season goes, and it's basically like, prove me wrong, Brandon Bean. If they're one and done in the playoffs, then they didn't get the job done. So I'm still sticking with, I think they fired the wrong guy, or both should have been gone.
What's a step back? What's a step back?
A step back, like I said, the division's weak. Miami and the Jets are going to be bad. So they're probably going to have quite a few wins because of Allen. Allen's going to carry the team. He's great. So that's gonna make a huge difference in their win-loss record. I mean, McDermott was winning I'm going to say 13, 14 games a year, sometimes, more. And when Pagula said, the 2 seeds, the 3 seeds, he's naming all these seeds, I'm like, those are good seeds, man. Like, we're not the Chiefs. Nobody's the Chiefs. So to get the 1 seed, if he thinks we're automatically going to get the 1 seed now, like, I don't know, probably not. But a good season would be, what basically McDermott's been doing. But, like, you got to win a playoff game or else we took a step back.
Well, they've done that every year, though. Like, they've won a playoff game literally every year the last 6 years, and they've averaged, 12 wins a season? Never 14, so.
Yeah, they never got to 14.
I think McDermott did a hell of a job. He didn't get to the big
No,
dance.
you're definitely making that point. I just want to know, I'm trying to pin you down on what a step back is. They did not win the division last year. So what is that? Is that missing the playoffs? Is that 9-8? That would be a step back.
A step back would be brutal. I mean, if they do that, then I think everybody's going to be out on what they did, firing McDermott.
But you're not saying that then.
No, I think they'll make the playoffs for sure. And
okay,
maybe I could see them losing the first round. Like I said, prove me wrong. Until they prove me wrong with this whole move they made. But I want to ask you guys a question. I saw McDermott on the air. I believe it was on the draft. And I was surprised to see him on TV. I'm like, he was like right at the table with 2 people and he was talking to them. Mm-hmm. So I watched, and he did typical McDermott, says all the right things, like, no sour grapes about the Bills, talked up how much he loves Josh Allen, which, I'm sure he does, but, like, didn't say one negative thing about the Bills in the organization. And I think it's human nature. I think he's got to be pretty pissed about the way it went down, but he's not going to say that. But, like, he said all the right things, like, he's rooting for him, but do you really think he's rooting for him? I think he wants him to fail miserably. I just think it's human nature, right? I mean,
no,
what do you think?
Not necessarily. I would never assume that from him.
No, I mean, I think it might be a little more layered than you're suggesting. Like, I wouldn't assume that there isn't any part of him that it could be spiteful. But I think when you coach players for as long as he coached, a guy like Josh Allen, a guy like Deion Dawkins, a guy like Ed Oliver, like who am I leaving out? I think you still want to see them have success, like regardless of how it ended for you. I mean, in that profession, I think the reality you live with is that eventually they're going to come for you. And so they did. And that's life in the city. So I think the emotional attachment to some of the players would keep you from being too spiteful about it. I think that's just my read. And I don't know the man, away from talking to him on the air here at all, but that's just how I feel like he handled himself.
I would hope he would be that way.
Yeah.
But
I would hope anybody would be that way.
I don't know if I would. I want to look good here. What's Kevin Adams thinking when the Sabres are winning? It actually probably helped his career that the Sabres took off after he was fired. It's his roster. But I get the caller's point. I'd like to spend more time with what a step back actually is. I don't think Bill really could decide. I mean, what matters? They were the 5 seed last year. If you do that again, that's not a step back.
There's only 2 worse than that that make
it. I mean, you do that again, that's not a step back.
I think a step back is 10-7.
Which is still maybe a playoff team, and you're in the same boat as last year, possibly.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call, Bill. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, back after sports. This is WGR. Just go to my look. This won't be hard. Just search it. Just like, hello, phone. Where is Mighty Ducks Game Changers? Like Disney Plus. Great. Look how easy that was. Go to Disney Plus. Not there. Only the trailer.
Oh boy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All the other Mighty Ducks things are there. The show has never sounded older.
Yeah,
the show has
I know.
The best. Now I'm going to get defensive. Just point out that my daughter is 13. All right. I mean, I can't be that old if I'm not Larry King. Now the show really sounds old. Who's that? Seattle. Has the show ever sounded older? Seattle in the NBA Finals.
F-.
I like this point. F- to me seems like just, like a cartoon.
Right.
Not a real. F is the lowest.
Yeah, it was like Bugs Bunny the teacher. Like what are we doing here?
F-.
The show ever sounded older.
The Bengals food.
See, kids, Bugs Bunny was a cartoon character. I did see the Scouts play in Buffalo. Yeah, I saw a Kansas City Scouts game as the show ever sounded old.
Well, I'm going to be mad about this, but I'm not going to sacrifice my jersey number for it. Matthew Golden, that's taking it pretty seriously. So I went through thinking about numbers.
I think I like 22 on a wide receiver.
Bob Hayes.
Yeah, works.
Hey, can you think of another one?
No. That's why I like it. Has
the show ever sounded older?
To me, 22 doesn't strike me. Well, I mean, certainly Bob Hayes. It does not strike me as a slow number. It's one of the. He was like an Olympic 100-yard dash champion.
That was his brand.
Has the show ever sounded older? Those 3 teams that I mentioned for the 6 and 7 could beat Jacksonville. Like if whoever's in that 7 spot, whichever one of those 3 teams ends up in that spot, I wouldn't expect, even if Jacksonville's got the big fancy 12-win record and these other teams won 10, I don't think that's a field goal spread. That's not a big number, I don't think. I think those teams would be viewed probably pretty close to equal. Both the Chargers and the Broncos would have, come through the AFC West, which looks to be harder. Although if the Colts are that caliber of team and Jacksonville is, then maybe I'm not even thinking about Houston for this. Still, I think that it's realistic to think that the 7. It doesn't have to be the blowout 3:30 on Saturday wild card game necessarily.
The AFC South Invitational.
It could actually be an upset.
All right, so let's just put something down here before we take a break. 6-7. Oh, hi. 6-7.
Oh, jeez.
What do you want?
Well, I want to know what it means.
It means it's great.
Okay.
So that's enough. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
It means it's great.
The NFL today. Number one, the one that's been speculated for weeks. A.J. Brown is officially on his way to New England. Philadelphia, in return, gets a 2028 first and a fifth in 2027. And then the trade that actually got the ball rolling today, the LA Rams acquiring two-time Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns for a first in 2027, a second in 28, and a third in 29. They also do get two-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Jared Verse. That is not the only news, though, in the NFL. The Bills do make a small roster move, signing wide receiver Magdalena. To do so, they release cornerback Daryl Porter Jr. And then the Giants bringing in a pair of wide receivers. One is Odell Beckham Jr. Beckham Jr., of course, with the Giants from 2014 to 2018. The other being Juju Smith-Schuster. And then in baseball, Mets out west tonight versus Seattle. First pitch at 9:40. It's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for West New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
There is a human element to this too, where A.J. Brown, I think, has been a relatively good soldier through this whole thing, knowing he's probably not going to be on the team. And contrary to public belief, he's very well liked in that locker room. He's more popular than Jalen Hurts. What I would say on that is this guy is an ultra competitive guy, right? And I think too often we make the mistake of assuming a guy can be competitive about his team's performance and not as competitive about his individual performance.
Albert Breer. Bulldog, is that a mistake you make?
What did he say again?
Competitive about team but not individual, or vice versa?
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't make any mistakes.
Not sure I could even understand it.
I don't make any mistakes. I prefer gaffes. I make gaffes.
You make gaffes? Really? You're a gaff guy?
I'm a gaffer.
No, that's an actual thing.
That's an actual job.
What does a gaffer do? They work on movies.
Yeah, I think so.
Doing what? Gaffing?
Gaffing things. Making mistakes.
That's what they're hired. The gaffer screws up. I thought that was what I was supposed to be doing here.
They bring a guy, or it could be a woman, I suppose. They bring a person onto the set, give them the gaffer job, so they make all the mistakes and everything else runs smoothly.
I see. To deflect?
Yes.
Take the pressure off the rest of the crew?
Odds are there's going to be mistakes made. At least let's get someone in here who knows what they're doing.
That's funny. That's funny. Right, everyone?
It's only Monday.
The gaffer is the chief electrician.
All right.
On a film or TV production
team. Good job, Google.
Well, I'm not giving you my source. Odell Beckham.
One of your kids texted you?
Yeah, that's what happened. Odell Beckham last played for whom?
Ooh, that's a good question. The Ravens?
That seems right. Miami. 2 years ago, in a game here, he caught 3 passes for Miami. And this game, I looked at it today.
I bet that stung at the time.
Maybe. That's well past the time when Von Miller kind of almost promised him to us.
Yeah.
He's playing for the Dolphins. This is a game I had a tough time remembering today. 2 years ago. The Bills won it on a 61-yard field goal to end it by Tyler Bass. And Beckham played for the Dolphins in that game. It wasn't his last game.
All right.
Is Tyler Bass a thing anymore? Is he coming back?
I think he's coming back.
Do you?
Yeah.
Beckham. Will you be drafting him? Throw a dart? 18th round? What do you think? Juju or Beckham? It's bad for Neighbors. It's got to be bad for Neighbors. They were talking about his knee like it wasn't going to be ready. And now you did what? You signed Odell Beckham Jr. and Juju Smith-Schuster on the same day. Was Phil McConkey not available? I mean, that's what you're telling us is that here's where we're at wide receiver. Young Jackson Dart. We want to change that story. So we're going to load up on retired receivers. Quasi-retired
I don't
receivers.
know what. I've not seen details. There's been two things happened so fast today. The Beckham stuff was this morning, and the Juju was maybe around the same time, right? And then, this was not unanticipated, although Myles Garrett being traded maybe wasn't certainly the same. But these other deals, I haven't really looked at the details, but, does Beckham have to make the team even? He doesn't have to make the team. He hasn't played football in 2 years. I don't know. I feel like it's as close to a nothing burger of a story as there could possibly be. How good is that team going to be anyway? I don't know. Maybe I should. Could they be good? The Giants? Dart's pretty good. They've got pass rushers all over the place, so much so that they might even trade Kayvon Thibodeau. I don't know.
You want to do that? You want to bet the Giants?
Do I want? No.
You want action on the Giants?
I'm asking, are they going to be any good? Could they be good? So then I started to try to build a construct where, okay, what do they have going for them?
I don't hate it.
I know they have John Harbaugh, and that's certainly credibility, but I don't know that it makes everything just everything else just right.
No, I don't love that either. 7.5 is the number.
So I don't know. I just don't think Beckham is going to. I might sooner bet that he gets cut in August than he has any impact on.
Sure. No, he's got to prove that he's physically up to it.
And I really don't have a whole lot of time for sentimentality to some extent. You were drafted there. You made one of the all-time highlight reel plays in the history of the sport while you were playing for that team. That's really your moment you arrived on the national scene.
Oh, baby.
Is that catch, that one-handed catch. I don't really have a lot of time for I have unfinished business with the Giants. They couldn't wait to get rid of you.
That was...
Please stop with I have unfinished... cut it out.
Got to say something. That was Dave Gettleman after claiming...
Right.
Just kind of the Browns guy
We weren't going to trade him. Right.
We're not going to... Why would we do that? Then he was traded.
We just signed him to a contract. Look, over here, I have the paper.
That should be... You should be able to sue for that when that happens. When the team just...
Yeah.
You want to say that? Then you can't make the trade.
Yeah.
Then... It shouldn't be possible to trade after you talk like that. It's wrong. Yep, Beckham did play for Baltimore in 23 and made somewhat of an impact. And then not last year, year before last, 9 catches in 9 games for the Dolphins.
I really wonder.
3 for first downs.
3
for first downs.
Boy, that hurts. I liked what you said earlier about the pivoting back to the Garrett trade, the Browns, and how, just to what extent there was a nod and a wink and a handshake on
last year.
All right, yeah, we'll get you all this guaranteed money, and we'll get you to crest the $40 million hill or whatever the hell it was on annual average value. We'll do everything, and just give us a year, and if we aren't out of the tailspin, we'll take care of you. And here we are. I mean, they clearly are not out of the tailspin, and so they're moving them. I do like what you started today with the Browns, like appreciating it from their perspective. Of course, the Rams are the lead. They got the big star, the defensive player of the year, single season sack record. Even reading the explanation from Andrew Berry, the GM, like, it always made sense. It didn't. The thing that made the least sense about the last 2 years of Cleveland Browns football is that they signed him to the contract in the first place. But they did, and for whatever attachments there were to that, and entanglements about how long this has to last if we're not to a certain level by a certain time or whatever, it just was always weird. And I'm glad for them that they looked in the mirror long enough and realized, like, we're going to get a lot of stuff, including a plug and play, much younger, excellent player at the position that we're trading away. I mean, Verse is not Garrett. Garrett is a almost 300-pound freak of nature who moves like Jared Verse, but also can stand in there and play. Like, Verse is more, he's more just, I'm coming for the quarterback. I think is just pure edge. Whereas Garrett is, you're that size, 285. Like, you're a force on all 3 downs or 4 downs if you want it. Whereas Verse, I think, is a little more specific, just pass rush, but there's a ton of value in that anyway, and he's excellent at it. So they did good for themselves, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm almost embarrassed in that every time there's a trade like this and the team getting the draft picks is, like, not a contender, I'm just going to automatically side with them. I love this for the Browns, but it's perverse. It's the Browns. Like, this is the Sabres, where enough already with this. Can I just wear my Garrett jersey and, get out there and enjoy myself? Right. You're always taking my top guys away. Not exactly, but what I respect about it is that they were not undone by their failures of the past, which I mean, as when we've talked about Sabre moves, they're a pretty good example of a team like this, where, like, whatever. Trade them, don't trade them. What difference is it going to make? I'm going to have more draft picks and new names, guys that are going to go back to juniors, and I just feel like I'm spinning my wheels. Mm-hmm. But really, apart from the fan base and what it might mean to your job security as a GM, the real life stuff, from a build standpoint, that really shouldn't matter. How many years you've gone without playoff wins. It really, change the name of the team. You're in the same situation with the same players. It looks like a better move because you're not known for losing like they are. It really shouldn't matter.
That's right.
If I'm the GM and this would cost me my job, how many games do I have to win this year? That kind of stuff would change it. And, maybe your owner's like, no, we've done enough of that. Then you're probably doomed in the job. We've done enough of that already. No, in this case, apparently, he was allowed.
Yeah, ownership went like, let's move on, because you're right. I mean, if you have the same people, I don't want to say repeating the same actions, but making the same sorts of moves, you might want to ask yourself whether or not you have the right people making the moves. But ultimately, you should not be held prisoner by the mistakes you made in the past. What you should ask yourself is, what is best for us, me at the front of it? Like, what's best for us right now is getting all these assets and a 25-year-old player at the same position who might even be like a rising, whatever. It totally works, because Garrett is at some point going to become a diminishing asset at his age. I mean, he just is. And it should be, again, he could be a freak of nature, I don't know, but it should be much sooner than the player you traded for. Not to even mention the picks and everything else that
sure.
you got here. So you should just be able to be honest with yourself, and whether or not, and again, if ownership has to give the leeway to a GM to say, like, yeah, that's fine, because they could have very easily said, no, not this time, not with Myles Garrett. People love him. We love him. He's a Brown forever. Well, I mean, if he's open to going somewhere else, like, you're not burning a bridge with a cornerstone player. I mean, you're trading him away, but you're not like doing him dirty. Maybe you're even doing what he wants, which is give me a look at it.
He's been their best player for 5 years. They had one good season.
Right.
So, sorry to interrupt.
No, I was winding down. You know how I work. There's often some trailer stuff
gaff.
at the end that really doesn't.
Was it a gaff?
Isn't needed. It might be. It's a gaff
by me.
Oh, I don't know. I was headed for you. Headed me off from a gaff myself.
Maybe I saved you.
Yes.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog 803-0550 for your calls. This is WGR. Stanley Cup Finals. Game 1 is tomorrow night in Raleigh. Game 1 of the NBA Finals is Wednesday night in San Antonio. I read today that the Hurricanes, with their only one loss through 3 rounds, are the first team to run that hot going to the finals since the 1983 Oilers, who got swept in the finals by the Islanders. The Islanders' 4th straight. Oh, that one crushed me. I was 11. I loved Gretzky. I loved the Oilers.
Yeah. I didn't feel a great affinity for the Oilers, but I definitely hated the Islanders.
Hated the Islanders.
Hated the Islanders.
Didn't you have to hate the Islanders?
Still do hate the Islanders.
Really?
Yeah, that won't ever go away. That just is there.
You and I could rip off that entire roster right now.
It helps it along that they just are never an interesting, fun-looking team. Like, I said it a lot. When the Sabres weren't playing, if Montreal was, I watched Montreal. Some of that always had to do with the broad. I was going to get a Canadian broadcast, which is a go-to almost any night. But they just became a fun team to watch, and wasn't so much fun to see them beat the Sabres in 7 games in overtime. But I loved watching them. The Islanders have almost never been that team. Even this team that you're claiming weak to, I have to rely on you, Bob Bourne. We're
off.
They were never. I don't know. It was just, I don't know. I just don't. Oh, maybe part of it is that the lighting in the old Nassau Coliseum looks so bad. The games just always look dark and dreary to me. But
you got to mention Schaefer here, though.
I feel like it's just a dud,
Don't you?
dud of a team.
Matthew Schaefer?
Matthew. Oh, yeah. Well, yes. Good point. Yes. He is excellent. Yes.
Easy Calder Trophy. Unanimous.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's changing. I should thank you for pointing that out.
My daughter's friend.
Yes, because there's a picture. Yeah.
They met. Yeah, they met.
Yeah. But anyway, I just have never.
That's tough. I've made the joke forever that the Sabres and Islanders have never played a good game. And that's really the same point as yours.
Yeah. Right.
Easy to condescend, right? But I think I could get a little bit defensive if I were a fan. Be like, well, you're not really watching then because, they've had some. The Tavares teams made splashes. They weren't bad. It's few and far between, but when they knocked off the Penguins the one year, it was kind of a big one. I don't know if they were fun, but they did it.
Right.
93.
Right. Yeah.
I don't really want to be walking around with the 1983 Islanders roster in my head, but I do. That's the life I'm living currently.
Right.
Butch Goring's helmet. Gilly's mustache. Trotier's mustache.
Bossy. Yeah.
Nystrom's mustache and hair.
Yeah.
Potvin, Pearson, Morrow's beard,
Yeah.
Billy Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
John Tonelli
with another mustache there.
Chico Resch. Corey Hirsch. Chico Resch. Thank you.
Chico Resch.
Goalies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Langevin, Bulldog.
Did you mention Potvin? You must have mentioned Potvin.
Dave Langevin.
Yeah.
Right.
How in the world?
Wayne Merrick.
How in the world? Wayne Merrick. Didn't he have the same helmet as Goring?
I don't know.
I felt like he had the same. I don't
remember his hat.
I confused the two of them. How in the world is Bob Bourne the first name? Because I thought it was a guy I thought of like this will be a pull.
Yeah.
It's not
fine.
a top line guy. There's had to be a Sutter brother or two there.
All
right?
of them.
All of them came through at different times?
Brent and Dwayne Sutter were the two Islander Sutters.
All right.
Yeah.
Of the
Arbor.
Five Sutter
At
brothers.
least, I want to say. There were a lot of them.
Yeah.
We'll take a break for sports and talk some more. 803-0550 to join us. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
Two trades go down in the NFL today. We'll start with the one that was speculated for weeks, and that is official. A.J. Brown on his way to New England, and in return, Philadelphia gets a 2028 first-round pick and a fifth in 2027. And then going back to this morning, the L.A. Rams acquire two-time Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns for a first in 2027, a second in 28, a third in 29, and two-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Jared Verse. That is not the only news in the NFL today. The Bills do make a small roster note, signing wide receiver Magdalena and releasing cornerback Darryl Porter Jr. to get that done. The Giants bringing in two wide receivers, one of which is Odell Beckham Jr., who has his reunion with the Giants. He played for them from 2014 until 2018, and then New York also signing Juju Smith-Schuster. And then Russell Wilson appears to be making the move to television, as reports have him finalizing a deal to become a CBS sports analyst. While in baseball, the Mets, they are out west tonight to take on Seattle. First pitch for that one is at 9:40. It's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for West New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp.
This guy's a real jerk.
And the Bulldog.
I'm sort of anal retentive, OCD kind of whack job.
On WGR.
One of the first things out of my mouth today was, man, I got a lot here. I don't know where to start. And almost none of it has come up yet. The trades have been the topic.
Yeah, right.
A little bit of hockey.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I mean, some of this stuff can wait.
Did what I just mentioned before
the
break ended, was that on the list that we haven't gotten to yet?
Yes.
Maybe we can get to it now. Hellenius' goal last night, or yesterday afternoon, to win the World Hockey gold medal for Finland was just outrageously good. I mean, it's 3-on-3. I didn't know what... It's funny, like, I watched the end of the regulation, and like, all right, intermission, overtime, I can't wait. And then it's so disappointing to me when an overtime period for a championship level game begins. Same could be said of the Four Nations, or what was the Olympics? The Olympics was 5-on-5 in the championship round, right? They didn't 3-on-3 earlier in the tournament.
That Hughes goal was not 5-on-5.
No, it wasn't, was it?
I think it was 3-on-3.
Anyway, okay. Got a great result there, but I don't like it. But
what was this? 3-on-3?
3-on-3, yeah.
It'd be the same.
When it started, I was like, yeah, of course, international, right. I was like, oh, damn.
Because you want to hang out a while with it.
Yeah, and I'm so used to 5-on-5 now because of all the Stanley Cup playoffs have been going on. And so I was kind of bummed out, but the goal Hellenius scores, it's the kind of play you make in 3-on-3. Like, it's not a play you could make. I mean, you could, I suppose, but like he just lugs it all the way into the almost to the goal line, maybe the hashes on the circle, and then just turns around and he's just got one guy and he just puts his arm out and just like, nope.
In lacrosse, that's illegal. That would be a ward. You can't just sort of hold off the other guy with your free arm.
Yeah,
he's got one hand on the stick.
Yep.
That guy, untouchable.
I
would call him untouchable.
He didn't get all the. To me, it was just I'm making my own shot. Like in basketball parlance, you talk about can you make your own shot, or you need help, right? You need to be at a spot and someone to facilitate getting you the ball, and you're open, and now you can do this thing for us, and that can be functional. But man, when you can just make your own play, like he didn't I got it.
It was a little bit Thompson.
Yeah.
Peak Thompson, where he's just like too good for everybody.
Yeah, and the shot is like right through the one defender's legs who's screening the goalie, and like just perfect. Oh, what a moment for that kid.
Do you think untouchable is too strong?
No, he's I think he and Benson are the two guys I most feel like, of course you're not trading them.
No.
And I think Osland is close behind, but okay, like maybe if I have to.
But you shouldn't have to.
You shouldn't. Well, you don't. You definitely don't have to do anything. But like, if you want Robert Thomas, you might have to, part with something.
This Hellenius, now that we finally figured out how to say it, which I will say is because I heard him say it. That's where I moved on to this, for me, newer pronunciation. But I feel like this was probably right. I was annoyed when they sent him down. When was it? Like even February, he was up, and then they sent him down. And I was disappointed in that. I understood it, talking to Paul and that, and you said it, like his play had tailed off a little bit. He started hot, and then, okay, well, I settled for it because it didn't seem like there was really room for him. And they were winning constantly anyway. Like, what can you say? But another one of these, it's hindsight, and it's maybe not even completely fair, but talent.
Did I wait too long to put him in?
Yep. Talent.
Yep.
We wanted to be bigger. We wanted to win draws. We wanted these certain things. And, in fairness, again, they're winning a lot, and they didn't have really other bigger needs, like they were so good. But there's always a guy like that. Well, he did get in, and he produced.
He did. And he produced on the world stage just now. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it was going to be hard to keep him off the team anyways. And certainly from a fan perspective, it was going to be very hard to get. There's people out there that want you to just let Tuck go and plug one of these guys in and assume that everything's going to be fine. And it may be, you're raising your hand.
For the non-viewing audience, I'm kind of raising my hand.
Sheepishly.
Sheepish.
Yeah.
Very sheepish.
But it's just it was a great moment. And it was not, I was telling you off the air, I never one time in my house during the World Championship tournament thought, oh, there's a game on.
It's such a weird event.
I just never, this is the same way last year when Thompson was on the team. I didn't ever think appointment television, right?
So he scored the tournament winning goal last year
in overtime against the Swiss.
Oh, the Swiss, poor Swiss.
And now Helen Hughes does it again yesterday. To the Swiss in overtime. And
at least this year, the Sabres went a couple rounds, so their guys weren't over there from day one.
Right, yeah. Helen Hughes joined up late and still, prominent enough role. Was playing on a line with Barkov at 5-on-5, 3-on-3. I'm not even sure who he was out there with because I couldn't really tell. But he took a regular shift. The goal, it took, 8 or 10 minutes. I didn't check the box, but whatever. He was on the ice 4 times maybe before he scored.
Was Ristolainen in there?
I never saw him.
He scored a goal. Was that World Juniors?
World Junior gold medal winning goal, yes.
I mean, he's not a Sabre anymore, but...
Yeah. And it wasn't against Switzerland.
It's such a weird event. I wonder... No, for once.
Right.
I wonder, from a betting standpoint, if there are edges in the World Championships based on, who's coming and who's not coming.
Yeah.
You sort of, instead of trying to get the jump on the Stanley Cup playoffs for whatever reason, okay, this guy's going if they lose, and that, here, I don't follow the tournament closely at all. It's such a strange event for that. It seems so dependent on which NHL teams are playing, who can't go.
Right.
I mean, it's not the Olympics, but, Crosby was over there.
Crosby was there. Celebrini was the captain of Team Canada, even though Crosby joined up after Pittsburgh got eliminated. They'd already announced the captains. And I think Celebrini offered, you're coming, you can be the captain. And Crosby was like, no, you deserve it.
And they didn't medal.
And
U.S. didn't medal. Norway did.
Yep. That's right. Norway did. So, anyway, I started saying, this is not an event that's ever on my radar to the extent that I know when the games are and I got to see it. But as it happened yesterday, and yesterday was no exception, I was watching baseball at home and I realized, I'm in charge of dinner. I got to run out. So, of course, remember the beer draft? Stop for one. Okay, perfect. I gotta run an errand. I'm on hurdle anyway. I'm gonna go grab one, and one turns into 2. And just as regulation's ending, oh, perfect. Helen Hughes. Yeah, all right. I went from 0 to 60 in 1 second when I saw the game on the TV. Because I knew they were in the final, and I knew he'd be playing. But again, I hadn't thought about it to the extent that at home I was like, ooh, where's NHL Network? I need to get to this game. But walk into a bar, it's on, and it's overtime. Perfect. And the payoff was there. It was pretty cool.
It was kind of a cool weekend. I mean, we're in between Premier League and World Cup. There wasn't any hockey either day, right? I mean, that's Carolina,
right.
Trounce, Montreal.
Friday night, that ended, yeah.
But there was that. That's hockey. There was that. I was on the Blue Jays Orioles yesterday, and Jim Palmer was in the booth, and he's still broadcasting for the Orioles. But Jim Palmer's 80, and it just sounded that smooth voice, and I mean, I wasn't scrutinizing his comments, but it was just so nice. Like Palmer has had a long. Palmer worked with Al Michaels, who's also 80.
Monday Night Baseball on ABC.
Monday Night Baseball. Palmer retired in 84. He was already working in broadcasting before he retired. I don't think he ever broadcasted a game he was pitching in. But, when the Orioles would be out and whoever would be in the playoffs, if ABC had it, you'd have Palmer sometimes. And, Seaver for NBC. So it was cool to have that. Saturday, I went to a very popular soccer-themed establishment on Hurdle. And Jeremy was there with his friend Chris, who I know a little bit. And this was for the Champions League final. This was noon on Saturday, Arsenal and PSG. And it was packed in a great way. Like, you're never going to get a seat. You just want to be able to see it. And I don't know how many people that place holds, but I was in there. And Arsenal, Jeremy's team, scored in the 6th minute. And the noise just was, you probably heard up and down the street. Yeah. I mean, it was so loud. Lots more Arsenal fans than Paris Saint-Germain. I left at halftime. It was a great time. Great way to spend it.
Great scene.
Great place to watch that game from.
Yeah.
For sure. So there was that. And I had a draft Saturday night. I've already told you about it a little bit. I gave you some news. Drafted 4 Titans. You got to be uncomfortable. You got to be willing to feel uncomfortable sometimes. One guy.
Good on you.
So real quick, this is a tight end premium draft. So tight ends are pushed up at the FFPC. The guy at 101 picks Bowers, first overall. Now, he usually goes like 6th, if that. It's defensible. But 101 Bowers. I'm picking at 12, Genty, Chase Brown. Boring. But, I liked it. I like picking at the end. Comes back around. The guy at the 1 who picked Bowers goes Loveland, Tyler Warren. We call it the purple Sasquatch. 3 tight ends. And then it comes back to him at 4 or 5, and it's auto picks. The rest of his draft was auto.
Wow.
Which I don't know the person, he or she. I think probably it was a mic drop.
I've done what I wanted to do here.
I started with 3 tight ends. I don't care after that. Let the computer do it. And it was a late night Saturday draft, and it disappeared. And I'm looking at it. I mean, it's not great. That's the problem if you do that is, you're behind at every other position. He ended up with May. That's not behind at quarterback.
Yeah, no.
But running back, receiver, he's in tough. Still, maybe it wasn't a move. But if it was, hats off. That's a move. $350, you're going to stop by, draft 3 tight ends, and quit.
If it wasn't a move, it's reckless. Then
that could be said.
I would say.
That can be said.
I'm guessing it was a move as well. But
yeah. I think probably because, for that kind of money, don't you actually draft the players you want?
Yeah, I would think. Yes. Yes.
You would do that.
Yeah, I would.
What else? Raymond Berry died. Raymond Berry, this came out today. Pro Football Hall of Fame receiver with the Colts, coach of the Patriots in Super Bowl 20. He died a week ago.
I always forget that.
The Pro Football Hall of Fame said he died May 25th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we just found out today.
All right.
Raymond Berry, who I remember, I'm not old enough to know him as a player. I mean, when did he retire? The 60s, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I remember watching an NFL film show that he's in. Maybe he was the coach of the Patriots at the time. And he said something like this. The show was about pass rushers or something, like just all defensive players. Like Lawrence Taylor would have been probably featured in this particular 30-minute NFL Films piece. And Barry is in it. He said something like this. It's never impressed me when if you sack a quarterback whose mind is entirely on something else. That was his line, was the quarterback is thinking of something entirely different, and you come in and knock him down. Like, wow. Ooh. You get it? It was like maybe it was meant to be funny, just a shot at defensive.
Okay.
At defensive players.
What?
What's so impressive about a quarterback sack when the quarterback's mind is on something else?
Not like home life, but like who's open downfield,
Yes.
right? Presumably.
Yes.
Okay. So I just wasn't sure what the context was of like mind on something else.
That's what he meant.
Wasn't sure if I was following entirely.
For some reason, I've always enjoyed that.
Yeah, I don't really know.
You don't get it.
I don't really see
You like it. You don't like it. You get it.
No, I get it. I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it. No, I don't like it.
Now we're just sort of crossing things off my sheet. Back to the soccer game in a minute.
Okay. Go ahead.
The Killers performed.
I heard about that, yeah. I didn't see any of this. I was in a day-long golf scramble, which was great fun at Harvest Hill. But I just was, my daylight hours were spent riding around in a golf cart mostly.
So the Killers performed right before the game.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Brightside, how about this bar for that?
No, I'll bet, right.
I didn't realize their drummer is Dan Fouts.
Oh, really?
No, it's not, but he looks, whoever it is, looks just like Dan Fouts.
Like a young Dan Fouts or like Dan Fouts now?
In between. How
Okay.
old are the
Middle-aged
Killers?
down.
Are they in their 40s?
Yeah, probably by now. Yeah, right?
I would guess this guy, facial hair-wise, he looks like me a little
Yeah,
bit.
they've had a 20-year career by now, I think. So that, assuming they were in their 20s when they started. So, yeah, all right. And that these are all original members. This is not a band that I follow aggressively. Do
you know that's the case? Are they?
No, I don't know. That's why I'm saying.
Either.
Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's not a band I know a lot about.
Strangely, the patrons of this bar all knew Mr. Brightside. They knew it by heart.
Yeah, that's a generational thing.
It was fun.
I mean, I'm assuming there were a lot of 30-year-old people.
Yeah, maybe.
But
it's the Bills song.
Yeah, right. Sure. That of course helps.
Yeah, it was great.
What I'm saying is non-Bills fans of that age
know that song.
All know that song.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's a.
Also, this is partly because of the Bills, I think, as well. All my son's friends know that song. I think high school kids know Mr. Brightside.
That's brought it back. Yeah, I think the Bills for a younger generation here, I think that the Bills have helped bring that song to their ears.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Do you think A.J. Brown will does he get a new contract when he goes to New England? Or no? Does he?
I don't know what's he on.
Does he just go? I'm just like my friend Pat Moran from the Talking Buffalo podcast just tweeted the salary cap hits the next 3 years for Brown and DJ Moore. You're not going to be happy.
Moore's is higher. Way higher.
In 27, he did not, for whatever reason, list this year's numbers, so I don't know what's going on there. But next year, 28.9 for Moore. Brown's is 10.9. Year after, Moore is 28.9 again. Brown 17.8, and then in 29.9 for Moore. Brown is 23.6. But I wonder if there'll be an adjustment. Like the Bills, that trade just got made today. The Bills, when they made the trade with Moore, made commitments to him that I'm still not real clear why they had to do that, but they did. They chose to do that. And so guaranteed more money and just did stuff. And those cap numbers are those are tough to look at. I mean, the Patriots paid more. They paid a first-round pick, but it's not till 2028.
The Bills paid a second in 27.
Right.
That's kind of the same thing.
Right, and there's a fifth thrown in there. That's it.
Yeah, whatever.
Those cap numbers are way out of whack.
I guess I don't know whether he's getting a new contract, but some teams don't operate like they feel like they have to show you their love, so to speak. That could wait, but I don't know the dynamics there.
Yeah.
I never was excited about this move. We'll see. I look forward to some interesting conversations about DJ Moore locally and from today, guys who have takes on him from around the league. Because I'm not convinced really that it's that big a move. And they did give up a lot, and they are paying him a lot, like you're saying. And he should be the best receiver they have. But I don't know. I think he's good. I don't want to say fine because that gets you all worked up.
Yeah, well, yeah, fine has a...
I think he might. I wouldn't want to say he's fine. I feel like that's a little bit selling him short. But I don't think he's great.
Yeah.
I don't think he's A.J. Brown.
Sorry, I've just become distracted by this in my Twitter feed. There's an NFL on ESPN tweet from a few hours ago that just says, imagine if Aaron Donald comes out of retirement. And our old friend, no. We did a regular thing with Trey Wingo for a little while.
Yeah.
Trey quote tweeted it saying, let's just say that's more than just imagination. All I can tell you right now.
Yeah, even Donald had a post.
Interesting.
Where he said, like, he kind of hinted at a comeback. Not even from today.
Wow.
Recent.
Wow.
I think. Before the trade.
McVay, Snead, and Garrett are all supposed to talk tomorrow after Rams OTA practice, by the way. So first time as a Ram, you'll be hearing from Garrett tomorrow.
I don't need pictures of him in Rams uniform, in a Rams uniform yet, because he hasn't actually worn one. But you get that. You get that these days.
This NFL ESPN tweet has Donald and Garrett next to one another in the uniform. Yeah.
At least Donald, though, has worn a Rams uniform.
I'm assuming that's a real photo of Donald from an actual game. Yeah.
You would think.
Probably.
You don't need this. You don't need to put the guy in the uniform he hasn't worn yet. Let's just enjoy the anticipation. Schefter does it. I mean, I'm sure he's not actually doing it, but
right.
His tweets often come with the guy,
Imagine him like Photoshop.
Imaginary.
I can't get my Photoshop to work.
Trying to drag and paste and cut. Not working.
Damn it. I need help.
We had the pleasure of chatting with Will Kunkel today, Houston media personality, talking about Moore, who he's had personal experience with, and the Texans, who the Bills face in Week 1. Stay tuned. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.